Hey, what's up, everybody? If you appreciate the format and you appreciate what we're doing here, then make sure you contribute to the Cash App, make sure you contribute to the PayPal, make sure you donate to the Super Chat. It's only you and your contributions that keep this thing going. Thanks.
We're the same people that came from the bottom up out of slavery to build all these cities around this country. We are the ones who set the trends in this world. And this is what we've come to. And the question that I have for you is, why? But moreover, it's the thing that gives me hope about what we can, because I've seen what we were in my lifetime. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to Kimberly, Dr. Turner, Demetria, and Merriman. Ladies, thank you so much for coming tonight.
We are giving criminals too many passes, I think, in the United States when it comes to us just taking simple verbal commands. All she had to do was go out of attack mode. But once again, nowadays you have young ladies and older women who behave like men. So she's thinking that she's just going to come out welding and doing everything she needs to do, and it's going to be okay. So then she can go back and brag to her friends, look what she did. X, Y, and Z on social media. I think it have a lot to do with social media, poor parenting, and poor understanding. And
that's pretty harsh. I ain't say it. I wouldn't even go that far at this point, but you said it. The question that I have for you is, what would have happened, or what would because everybody else is saying, oh no, the cop did wrong. What do you think would have happened if instead of Makai, it was Lil Mikey, and Lil Mikey was trying to stab a black girl? What would the response be from the community?
Dramatization.
After a car wreck, you may have to fight with a highly trained insurance company rep whose job is to knock your damage claim down and out. It's a bad idea to enter the ring alone against a trained boxer, and it could be a bad idea to fight against a big insurance company by yourself. When the bell rings, Attorney Dennis Sperling will be there to fight for your rights. If you've been seriously injured in a car wreck, call me, Attorney Dennis Sperling, at 866-529-2444. That's 866-529-2444.
And that's it, and that's that. I don't care if you don't like me. See, I'm very passionate about this because we are essential in the problems of the breakdown of our community, the women. But yet we want to boast about how we're these boss, and please excuse my language, how we're these boss bitches who are running things. We're not running anything. We are not equipped to do that. Mm-hmm. Step back, be quiet, and stop effeminating these little men. Stop calling our sons mommy's little man, and get out of the way. And then when you get 50, my age, 51, 52, you're alone. You're alone because of what you did in the past. Yeah. You should have never invited me to this show today, Bennett.
No, you good. I want to hear you. You know, I know the people in the audience like he ain't interrupting them at all. He letting them speak. I want to hear what you have to say. It's one thing for me to say things. It's another thing for Black women to address other Black women. You all need a voice.
I am very, very upset that we as women, and especially in Gen X, do not take accountability for what we have done.
What are your thoughts? What's your first impression of this whole situation, Doctor?
My first impression of the entire situation is it's the same battle group that we tend to run against, the Bonnet Bettys and the battling BWs of the world. Because I think this is where the majority of the comments are coming from, a collection of women who, once again, do not want to be told, our our shortcomings. And I've talked about that before. I think the way we dress in public, the way we speak as ladies is despicable. You know, I think the way we present ourselves is despicable. And then we have the same nerve to, in the same breath, to say we want respect from people.
Hey, what's up, everybody? If you appreciate the format and you appreciate what we're doing here, then make sure you contribute to the Cash App. Make sure you contribute to the PayPal. Make sure you donate to the Super Chat. It's only you and your contributions that keep this thing going. Thanks.
If you're in this type of community that she describes with savage behavior and you get out, is that a generation lost? And we want to make it clear, we're not talking about all Black people. We're just talking about these people who acted an ass on the video. Are we talking about a generation lost, Dennis?
Isaiah, I hate to say it, but unfortunately, yes, there's nothing you can do about it. Now, it hurts my heart to say that, but you know, when we have a lot of our Black American women who say Black men don't protect us, this is why. This is why we don't protect you. This is because we could lose our lives trying to protect you, especially when you're wrong. See, a lot of Black women, they don't want men to protect them. They want men to come in and be their retaliation force. This is what happens. 2 Black men are going to lose their lives. The man that allegedly shot him and the man that already is dead. That one is probably going to get 100 years to life, 100 years, and the other one is going to get the death penalty. So we have a toxic culture in the Black community that needs to be flushed out. That's the problem. And it doesn't matter how much police work we do, how many legislative bills we come up with, until we begin to correct ourselves as people, we're still going to go down this be the toilet of society.
The only thing I ask you guys to do is know what your options are. That's it. I just want you to know that you have options. The other thing is, I try to explain to you guys, is that you should travel. What do I mean by travel? What I mean is you should leave the United States. I don't mean just going from Alabama to Georgia for spring break. What I mean is you should travel. You should go overseas. You should see what it's like living in other places, even if it's just for a week visit. And when you go places like Brazil, when you go places like the Dominican Republic, when you go places, I'm sure Africa is the same way, what you'll experience is the way Black men are treated, the way you're embraced.
And, you know, one lives with that, man. So, yeah, if anything I can say, man, is that the South keeps you sober as a Black man. It keeps you from running away with kind of, you know, utopian, fantastical ideas about the world. Yeah.
Explain to them what it's like as a Black man. When you say sobering, you walk into a store, you walk into a party, a club. Is this even heard of? You walk into an all-white club, you're the only Black man there, and do you just immediately start flirting with white women? It's not good. Well, before you
but there's still whites in this society, white men and women who are very resistant to Black men. You know what I mean? And those type of interactions, bro. And they feel some kind of way about it.
To have conversations with people and to basically let people know the issues that Black men face and what we're going through, and to hear it directly from us, unfiltered, if you will. And so at this point, I think the most important thing for us to determine is whether or not the people who we want to hear us the most are actually listening. And despite what these brothers say, when I listen to them, and I'm talking about the thousands and thousands of conversations and exchanges I've had with Black men over the last 11 years, it is 11 years since 2009. A lot of them really just want to be heard, and they really want to be heard by Black women. They are not necessarily concerned about what other people think. They want their sisters, their mothers, their wives, and their girlfriends, their daughters to hear them.
My name is Dennis Sproul. If you've been involved in an accident, call me and I'll fight for you. I'm not an actor or a celebrity spokesperson. I'm a real trial lawyer, and I've appeared before real judges and real juries on behalf of people with serious injuries. So when I say I'll fight for you, I mean it, and I'll back it up. If you've been hurt in an automobile or 18-wheeler accident, contact me toll free at 866-529-2444, and I'll fight for your rights.
Hi, my name is Dennis Berlin. I'm not a lawyer, but my daddy is. Yeah. If you've been hurt in a car accident, call my daddy. No need to scream and yell like a little kid. Yeah, I know. My daddy will fight for your rights. Yeah, fight for your rights. If you've been involved in a car accident, call my daddy, returning Dennis Berlin.
Hello, I'm attorney Dennis Sproul. If you've been injured in a car wreck, call me at 713-229-0770.
Call my daddy, daddy.
I know you could kind of relate a little bit, you know, because they are women, but like, talk to us, Judge, because the fellas want to know. The fellas need to know. We all need to know. Go ahead.
See, I can't relate to that at all because I think that both parents should take care of their kids, period. So when I come across a female that has to pay child support and she's been out of shape about it or something like that, you know, as in terms of me representing them, and they've been out of shape about them, I'm very honest. If anybody in the chat knows me or anybody watching this, they could tell you, I tell her like it is, look, you need to get over yourself. Because if the roles were reversed, he would have to pay and you wouldn't have an issue with it. At the end of the day, this is what the situation is. This child lives with him. You need to get over it. The interesting part about the show is that, you know, the show, it's reenacting cases that have actually happened. But a lot of the things that you all are seeing with the reenactment are true feelings of how some of these people thought that Texas law worked. So when they get the response back from me based on Texas law, you know, after it, they're like, man, I didn't know it went like that. Because in certain situations, if you're not going to do right by the child in all facets, that is in terms of their education, in terms of their health, in terms of the psychological needs, when it comes to them spending time with their other parent, having a relationship with their other parent, because parental alienation is big too, right? Where, you know, turning a child against one parent, all of that kind of stuff. If you're not going to do right in all facets when it comes to the child, let that child go live with its other parent.
What's up, everybody? This is Dennis Sperling. I'm coming back at you guys live, and we're going to have a special conversation today, right? Everybody's heard that old term, being the man about town. What the hell does that mean, being the man about town? It means being someone who's socially connected, someone who knows people, who knows how to get in and out of different places, who has friends in high places and low places, and knows when not to engage a person who may be somebody who's courting their attention for whatever reason. So, you know, one thing that I've learned practicing law, one thing that I've learned being a man about town, is that there's something you want from someone else, and there are things that other people want from you. Now, when I bring up the subject of who to know and who and why, daytime people, what I'm referring to is people that operate on these streets and these buildings during the day. And you'll find that there's also a group of people called nighttime people. Okay, these are the people who may occupy the same streets and the same office buildings at night and have totally different roles to play in society, all of which are necessary, some of which are deemed more acceptable for the daytime, others deemed more acceptable for the nighttime, i.e. the division, daytime people and nighttime people. And what you have to know as an up-and-coming young man, middle class, older man, whoever, you have to know how to distinguish between the two and how to keep people in their roles. So without further ado, we're going to start. So here's the thing. You got 64% of black men in the middle class. You have, what else? You got 20% of those black men who are either rich or who are, upwardly mobile to the point where they're in that top 10%, top 3%, whatever. And so because of that, there's a group of daytime people that they need to know. All right. One of which is what? Of course, as an attorney myself, the first group of people you need to know, lawyers. Why? Lawyers. You need to have a criminal law lawyer. You need to have a traffic ticket lawyer. Why? The criminal law lawyer and the traffic ticket lawyer, two different lawyers. But why? Because if you create friendships with these people, if you have someone on speed dial, you're not so stressed if someone you know, or yourself, or a family member, or a friend needs a referral, you got a guy you can call. I happen to be pretty cool with some of the prominent criminal law attorneys here in Houston. I'm on first name basis with one of the best lawyers in the nation who practices out of Houston, Texas. Actually, he and I are currently opposing counsel in a large class action case. I won't mention it, won't mention his name. Wouldn't want him to use this against me or my team in court. But the bottom line is, I know this guy. And so if I need a criminal law lawyer, I can call him. He charges a pretty penny, but I know that, hey, I'm going to get the best service available in this city, in this state, if he's representing me. And what does that do? That puts my mind at ease, right? So next up, traffic ticket lawyer. The reason you want to know, you want to traffic ticket lawyers because you already know if you get a traffic ticket or some sort of citation, you're not arguing with some cop on the side of the road. You're not arguing with some constable. You're not dragging yourself down there to court. You're going to give it to your traffic ticket lawyer with $100 or $150, and that's taken care of. What does that do? It eliminates your stress. It allows you to maintain your peace of mind and happiness in conducting your business. Because if you know you got a traffic ticket you got to take care of and you got to show up to court, that means you have to stop doing this other stuff that you have to do that's a priority, especially as a Black man. You already know you need one of these guys on deck, because when the cop pulls up on you, you're like, here you go. You want to know why I stopped you? I'm sure, officer, you have your reasons. My hands on the steering wheel. Those my driver's license and insurance. The registration is up to date. It's on the window there. You don't need to talk. If he's going to give you a ticket, let him give you a ticket. I don't want to know why he stopped you. Whatever reason he has, it doesn't matter. I'm going to let the traffic ticket lawyer sort that out. And it's probably going to be nothing more than him going down there one time, whispering to the city prosecutor, and the whole thing is going to be handled. Or maybe I have to pay a small fine or whatever. Bottom line, it brings you peace of mind and happiness. So criminal law, traffic law, family law attorney. You need a family law attorney. Why? Because things happen. If you have children, if you plan on getting married, you need to have already created a relationship with one of the best family law attorneys or several of them in your town. So you'll know if you're going to be dating, if you're going to be out and about. You never know. It might be a will situation. Maybe you don't need them for child custody or child support or anything like that, but you're going to need a family law attorney. These are things that you need to know. Now, a lot of people contact me. They contact me because they know I know people. And so I'll do that. I'll plug them in with somebody, no referral fee or anything like that. I just do it as a service, especially some of you guys. Now, here's another thing. You're going to want to have a general attorney that you can refer to whenever you have issues. And I'm not just talking about people you know in a professional setting. Daytime people, they're usually pretty cool to know, even in a friendship capacity. I could sit down, I could have a lunch, or mostly lunch. I could have lunch with any one of these folks, any one of these lawyers. I could sit down and sit it up. Now, some of these nighttime people don't want to hang out with them, right? Some of these, and there's another list of people who you don't want to know, but we'll talk about that at another time. But that's going to be on this list of things. So what do we got? You got the criminal law, you got the family law, you got the traffic ticket lawyer. Who else? You need a general business attorney. Okay, you need a general. This is somebody I refer to, general for business. I'm about to sign a lease to get an apartment. I'm about to sign a deal on a house. I want my general practitioner attorney. For some people, I'm that guy. People want their corporations formed. I do that. I know I focus primarily on personal injury, class actions, plant explosions, but oftentimes people will call me from whatever state they're in to help them form their corporations. I've done it in California, New York. I've done it in several of the Midwestern states. People call me all the time for that. They send me an email, Dennis, I want to form a corporation in Montana. Can you help me? Of course I can. Send me the fee via PayPal or whatever, and I got you. And I help them get their corporation formed, tell them how to get their tax ID number, wish them well, send them on their way. that's something you can get when you have an attorney. You don't have to sit down. You don't have to make an appointment. You don't have to go through all that. You can basically tell me what you want. I can figure it out. But that's what having a general attorney practitioner, a general practitioner attorney does for you. Now, again, I specialize in personal injury. I deal with car accidents, but that's something I do. That's a very small thing that I do, but I do it well. One of the first things I did out of law was form a corporation for a young woman who, a young man who wanted to have a nonprofit. So I did that 501c paperwork. Oh my God, it was just tedious, but got that done, got that out the way. And then I do LLCs and INCs for people all the time, whether it's an S Corp, a C Corp, LLC. I do that all the time. Help people out with that. They pay the fee. I move on back to my car accidents. But bottom line is you want to have an attorney friend like that, who can at least direct you to different attorneys that you may need. So you might not have a real estate attorney, but you got somebody. You might not have a tax attorney, but you got somebody to deal with that. Now, next thing is, and on that tax attorney thing, you want to also have a bookkeeper. Find yourself a bookkeeper. If you're a businessman, if you're an entrepreneur, especially find yourself a bookkeeper. If you got your own business, you got to have a bookkeeper, but that's a special niche. That's something that I would talk to people about at one of my private one-on-one sessions. That's that imperial class A diamond information that I don't just give out to the public like that. But this stuff is generally man about town stuff. You want to know these people. So now what? When you're out and about doing your business, you're moving and shaking, you got friends you can call. You got your lawyers on text message. Hey man, I had a problem here, Block. Can you take care of it? Sure, no problem. Scan it, send it to me. I'll be right there. Bam, taken care of. It allows you to conduct your business. It allows you to move through any city in a very smooth and confident manner because you know you have a whole group of people that have your back. This is what being a man about town is. Next up, so we kind of hit the lawyers a little bit. Let's talk about doctors. You got to have a doctor. You have got to have a doctor, fellas. You have got to have a relationship with a doctor. If you're a black man, you need a black man probably as a doctor. I got a black doctor. He moves here. I tell my insurance, make sure you can, that's my guy. There's nothing like having a black male doctor to take care of you. There's absolutely nothing like it. As a grown man, you need to have a relationship with your doctor. One of my doctors, he decided that he wanted to stop practicing privately and go be the general doctor for Texas Southern University. I was cool with that. I found another black doctor and I made him my new doctor. Okay. And every year I go over there, I get checked up. I got some sort of whatever scare, my back hurts. I'm thinking I got diabetes and all that. I go over there, he sits me down. You're good. You're good, man. Just lose like 15 pounds, drink more water. You're good. You got to have a doctor. All right. You got to know a doctor. You have a good relationship with the doctor. He needs to know you. Make sure he has all your medical records, all your medical bills, because heaven forbid something happened to you. You want to be able to say, this is my doctor, John Smith, whatever, his phone number, email. That way they can get all your stuff to you. It gives you a sense of ease. You know, it makes you somebody. I know you guys, you know, and, you know, I know you guys are like, I'm almost embarrassed having to have this conversation with you guys. But because I know you guys don't do this, because I know you don't, you know, we got to do it. You know, we got to. You guys are coming into something that I've been into for a long time, for the majority of my life. Even growing up as a young boy, because I was adopted into a family of prominent people who were doctors and lawyers. This is something that was common, even amongst black people. This is something you knew a doctor, you knew a lawyer, you knew all these people. Makes life a lot easier. But you know, when I got guys who are just coming into the middle class, this is how this operates. This is how we move. This is how you move. This is how you create contacts. People wonder why, like, man, Dennis knows everybody. He goes here, he goes there. It's like he fits in with place. It doesn't matter. I can get people to come in here and have conversations because we have decades and decades of a relationship that we built up. These are the daytime people, stockbrokers. I've had lawyers come in here. I've had doctors. This is why. This is why. And the reason is because I've taken the time to create a social network. All right. So this is what we're doing. So now you got to have your doctor. You don't need to. Your doctor should be able to send you to a specialist, blah, blah, blah. And this is basic stuff, guys. This is basic stuff, but it's important if you're going to be the man about town. Who to know? These are the daytime people you need to know. Next up, you need to know a congressman. It doesn't matter to me if they're in the Senate. It doesn't matter to me if they are in the state legislature, if they're in the federal Senate, if they're in the federal House of Representatives. I don't care. You just need to know some kind of congressman, right? The reason you need to know and the reason you need to create the relationship because that person can plug you in with different people. With him, it's just a matter of phone calls or emails, and that person can put you in with somebody else. My next door neighbor at my office is Al Green. He's a state representative for the state of Texas, in long time in Congress. You guys have seen him sometime. I see him all the time. Hey Al, how you doing? What's going on? How's it? Hey, he comes taking a few pictures with my kids, stuff like. So I know this guy. I know how I can get in contact with him if I need him. Let's say 2 or 3 years from now, or 4 or 5 years from now, one of my kids needs a recommendation to go to one of these elite schools. We already got a congressman who can do that. I don't have to go and try to find somebody who doesn't know me. We've had a 10-year relationship, 15-year relationship with this man. And so it's a natural thing. It's organic. You create a relationship with the congressman. Hell, it doesn't even have to be your congressman. Just get a congressman. And I really don't care if he's Republican or Democrat or whatever. If you get this person who knows how this political system works, who understands how things go, and you make them their friend. Now, I'm going to talk to you later on about making friends before you need them. But this is something that you have to do. All right. Next up, the mayor. You should know the mayor of your town. You should know the mayor of your town. Most of you don't even know the name of the mayor of the town you live in. You don't. And you can't tell me you do. Because if I asked you, you wouldn't. It's just true. You don't know the mayor. You haven't gone to any of their campaign contribution parties. You don't know their name. You probably don't know where their office is at City Hall. You should make it a point to take $100, $200, $300, $500, whatever you got, as a regular lay person, and go out there and make sure you put that in the coffers for the mayor and shake the mayor's hand the next time they're running or re-election, or a mayor who's running for re-election or running for election. And you get to know that person. That's the point when they're ready to talk to people, when they're out there. And I promise you, $100 from somebody who's a regular person who doesn't have a whole lot of money, that means a lot more to them than some person who's a multimillionaire who gives them $1,000 or $2,500 of the campaign limit. Give them that. Go out there. You know what? I'm a hardworking man. I'm a plumber. I'm an electrician. I'm a school teacher. Blah blah blah, whatever. But here's my $100 because I support you. My name is John Smith, and I think you're awesome. You know, and I support you. That mayor will remember that. You put your name on the mayor's mind. You make sure you get a card for the person that they have in charge. And now what? You're starting to create a relationship, and you go back and you do your best to get to know the mayor. And if there's something open and you got time to go to it, hey, mayor, you won. I'm so happy you won. Remember, I was the person that met you, you know, back when you were running 5, 6, 7, 8 months ago. I'm so proud. If there's ever anything I can do for you, you let me know. And maybe one day you'll run for governor. Oh my God, this mayor is gonna be like, you the one. You know, this is the type of people I need. Well, I do have a committee that I can do? Yeah, and my kids, we can volunteer and help clean up, put signs. Get to know your mayor. Why? Because the mayor is probably the highest executive in your town. That mayor can do more for you than pretty much anybody else will. Well, you know, so keep that in mind. All right. Again, this is a new one. This is a special conversation. Being the man about town, who to know and why. Daytime people. I've explained to you who daytime people are. This is for men who want to be the man about town. You want to be the man. You want to be connected. See, it's not just about having money. It's about being connected. It's about having social status. It's about when you go places, right? People want to get to know you. Like, who is that? And how does the mayor know him? Like, oh my God, the mayor came up and whispered something in his ear. Him, and you know, this is what I'm talking about. And you know, you guys, you don't know how important this is. And see, the thing is, you want to begin to court these people and make friends with these people before you need them. So it's important for you guys to know the mayor. All right. I'm going to share a little photograph with you dudes so you'll know I'm not just messing around. All right. I'm going to share a photograph, and I got a couple of photographs like this, but I'm going to put this up just so you guys know I'm not pulling your leg. Okay. This is me with my lady last week at a function sponsored by Derek Muhammad. And that's me and the mayor and my lady. That's the mayor and me. So I'm not making this stuff up, right? That's the mayor of Houston right there. And, you know, we gotta, this is what I do. You know, I'm speaking to you guys from a place of knowledge, not just talking out of the side of my ear. And everybody walked up and said, how do you know Sylvester Turner? I mean, what did he say to you? You know, people want to know. We've seen each other around before. Now for you know, complete disclosure, he is my fraternity brother. But still, you know, we got like 200,000 of us. How does he know me like that? It's because I've met him before in other places. I'm kind to him. I know people around him. I know him. We speak. You know, this is how you get to know people. This is your social connection, your social. This is you want to get to know the mayor. Okay, here's another one, right? And I even know the mayor in my town in Houston. I don't actually live in Houston. I live in the suburbs, but I've actually met the mayor of the town that I live in, Missouri City. Why? Because it's important to know the mayor. It's important to know the mayor of your town. Here's another one. It's important to know the district attorney, the DA. I know you guys are like, I'm not going to meet the DA. The DA is the op. I get it. I understand where you're coming from. I know. I've heard it. Getting to know the DA, especially a DA who's running for office. What's the problem? Go down there, give them $100, $200. Make sure, shake hands with them. Make sure they know who you are. Make sure you put your name in your face. And what you'll be surprised is you'll see those people out and about, and they'll remember your name. They'll know you. I'm not saying you're going to get cut any favors or anything like that, but at least you'll be involved in the system, and people will know that you're an active citizen. You're not this people. It's hard for people to paint a bad picture of a person when they got an option of, is a good guy, a bad guy, or your sons or your daughters. They've grown up knowing you. They know who you are. They know the caliber of person that you are. So it's hard for people to say this has got to be a bad guy. It's hard for them to blitzkrieg you and use the weight of the government against you when they know you're a good person and your reputation, because they know you personally. So, and on top of that, it's great to know the mayor, because it's great to know the DA. It's great to know the congressperson, the police chief. This is another one. Oh my God. The mayor appoints the police chief. So get to know the police chief. I'm not saying you got to go down there and contribute any money, because that's not the type of job. But if there's some voluntary stuff that you can do, that you can get next to the police chief or a high-ranking captain or somebody like that, you get to know them. You go, you shake hands. They got a barbecue or something like that. Bring your kids out, look at them, talk to them, go about your business. That's what I'm asking you guys to do. This is how deals are done. This is how the world really works, and you got to play the game. If you don't play the game, if you don't play, you can't win, and you're going to lose because somebody else is going to play it for you. A real estate agent. You got to get to know real estate. And, you know, we're 30 minutes in. I want to say thank you to Sam C. I appreciate the super chat. You know, you guys, if you appreciate what I'm doing here, man, make sure you contribute to the super chat. Make sure you contribute to the Cash App. We are talking about some very pertinent topics. You know, I mean, yesterday we talked about hygiene. You know, we talked about, you know, being, you know, proper grooming, your image. You know, you'd be surprised how many people took that. We ended up talking to one of my favorite people here, Afro Patriarchy. I gave him a suggestion for a diet that's going to help him tremendously if he sticks to it. He's 410 pounds, 6'6". You know, you can't be perceived in the way you want to be perceived if you don't look the part. You can be as dressed as nice as you want to, but if you're 410 pounds, the image is not going to come off right. All right. And I'm just trying to help you guys. I'm teaching you guys, giving you guys the benefit of my wisdom. Trust me, this is a boring conversation, but it's important. This is how you become the man about town. This is one of those things that you have to do. Your network. Mr. Kevin Samuels always talks about, it's not just money. It's your network. It's your social. Who can vouch for you? Who can speak for you? Who do you know? Who can come to your aid when necessary? These are things that are important. You know the mayor, you got lawyers, you got doctors, you got congressmen, you got the DA, you got the police chief. All these people know you. And it wasn't that hard for you to do them. You met them when they was ready to meet people at the campaigns. And these people they're trying to win a popularity contest. They need your help. Help them when they need help. This is what I'm telling you guys, right? This is how you become the man about. This is one of the things about being the man about town. Who to know. And these are all daytime people who operate in the daytime. And some of these people, they might have nighttime jobs. You know, I knew a judge out in Louisiana. He was a judge during the day. He owned a bar at night. So he's a daytime person, but he also operates as a nighttime person. But clearly, his daytime job supersedes his nighttime job. He's still the judge even at night. The problem with that is when you got to start mixing those things in like that, it gets kind of crappy. Like, for instance, when I tell you guys he's a lawyer, but he also raps, that's daytime people and nighttime people mixing. Y'all can't quite, that's like, nah, that don't make sense. I get it. I understand. That's why it's easier for a drug dealer to convert and be a rapper, because those are both nighttime people, right? You see that? It's an easier thing to go with that, you know, than a lawyer versus a lawyer then being a rapper or something like that. I get it. I understand. And this is the psychology that we're dealing with. But for the most part, let's stay focused on what we're doing. The next thing you need to know a real estate agent. You need to know a real estate agent, because a real estate agent is going to tell you a lot more than just when and where to buy the property. They're going to tell you apartments that you can rent. They're going to say you safe areas, bad areas. They're going to tell you about good investment deals, especially if you have a good relationship. This real estate agent is going to know pretty much everybody. That real estate agent, that real estate agent is going to know the poor people, the rich people, the politicians, the cops, the robbers. She's going to know everybody, or he's going to know everybody. Reason is because everybody has to find somewhere to live. And so knowing a real estate agent and keeping somebody like that in your back pocket, always available, that enhances your network, because your network is enhanced by that person's network. You can casually mention, yeah, I'm looking for somebody. I need somebody, blah, 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 who might come here and talk about this investment or that investment with my group, preferably somebody who's been involved in the entertainment field or somebody who's professional sports. I promise you that real estate agent knows somebody that they can reach out to and let you know. That's what real estate agents do. Here's another one. local news reporter. You want to know somebody, right? You want to know people who have a lot to do, who have to do with the news. You guys have seen me on Isaiah Factor. I knew Isaiah Carey before I began appearing on his show. We had a couple of conversations. He just so happened to call me one day about 3 or 4 years ago. And then next thing you know, I'm on his television show. And what does that do? That leads to a whole nother level of popularity, and it increases my business. But it also, I get somebody, if I got a news story I want to break, I can call him. If I got somebody that, I want to refer out to him because, there are a lot of you guys here on the internet that have these burgeoning shows, but nobody's cut you a break. I could probably parlay that, not just with him, but with other people. And here's another thing. If you ever get in a situation where you want to get your story out, somebody, a newspaper reporter, a television person who speaks to the masses at night. These are people you need to know. And it's not that hard to get to know them. They're around. I promise you, they're around. And here's another one. I'm going to hit this pretty quick. Preachers, padres, and imams. Okay. A preacher is, of course, a Baptist preacher, and a padre, which means fathers, like the Catholic Church. And then the imam is the person who heads up, is my understanding, the person who heads up the Muslim prayers in their mosques. So what I'm basically saying is you need to know the heads of the religious organizations. They need to know your name. Why? Because there are things that they can do that you can't. They can marry people. They can preside over the, funerals and those sort of things. They can show up and give prayers to formal events. And you want to be the guy who knows these people, because again, this is your network. And again, these are day people. These are people who operate during the day. These are people who are what we would call stand-up sort of people. Their image is crispy and clean. These are people who keep society going during the day. Now, it's straight and to the point, right? But you want to know these people, because here's another thing. When you know the preacher, you know his congregation. He knows pretty much everybody in his flock. Same thing with the fathers. They know everybody. They know their needs. They know what's going on. And so because of that, it makes it easy for it increases your network. You see? So, just think about that, right? And this is the first lesson we talk about. Shout out to Trey D. Shout out to Ronald Calhoun. I appreciate you, man. What else? Shout out to Sam C. Thank you so much for the super chats. And I want to make sure I get you got Jay Hardwick. Thank you so thank you so much for the Cash app. And let me see who else. We got other guys in here. And I put the link in the chat room. So if you guys want to talk about this, cool, man. You can give testimonies. Let's talk about, the people. Because again, it's not just about how much money you make, man. It's truly not. There's a lot of, what's the point? You're rich. Nobody knows you. Nobody cares about you. You die. Maybe you put a building up. But other than that, you have no social network. You have no power. Power comes with an influence, comes with connections you have. Your defense, your offense comes with the people that you have. See, these people, when you create relationships with them and you're a good person and they know you've helped them and you haven't done anything, they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt. These are your people. They're going to, and here's another thing. When you're out and about, you're at some formal event and the mayor runs up to you, hey, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's looking at you. And if you guys are, in more of a, in a carnal sense of the word, there's nothing more aphrodisiac. There's no greater aphrodisiac than power. Okay? There's no greater. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how many albums you sold. If Barack Obama walked in a room and he was, not a single man, he's married, of course, but if he was a single man, if he walked in a room, all the women, all their eyes would be turned to him because of the power that he holds. And power is an aphrodisiac. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you have power like that, right? When you have power and influence, you don't have to do that much. People already know who you are. People kind of tend to want to leave you alone. They want to get to know you. Smart people. See, stupid people disrespect powerful people, thinking that I'm gonna just treat him like I'm gonna test him, and then they end up getting their hat handed to them, right? And you wonder, because you know, it's like just play the game, fellas. Just play the game. I'm giving you the rules to the game. I'm breaking it down for you. You guys have every right to play this game just like everybody else. And the first step of being the man about town, who to know and who not to know. I mean, I'm sorry, who to know and why. We're talking about daytime people, people that operate during the daytime, people that make things go, people that are in charge of billion-dollar deals, people who are in charge of the infrastructure, the water, the electric. You know, these are the people, these are the real power players in your town. That mayor or that congressman or that councilman. And there's also other people like your councilman, congressman, all those other people. You should know them too, but I'm just giving you a little play, you know, because if you know one of them, you can kind of get to know all of them. You know, this is what I want you guys to begin focus on. These are goals here. And you begin to build this network up. And if you can, bring your sons and your daughters into it early on. Because here's the thing, man. When you know these people, stuff comes across their desk all the time. Oh my God, they got a scholarship for $50,000 for a little black girl between the ages of 15 and 18 to go to this university. You know what? I know Ronald Calhoun. Let me call Ronald Calhoun. I heard he had a granddaughter over there. Ronald, how you doing? Daughter, Ronald, yeah, man. You remember me? Yeah, of course I remember. The mayor wants to talk to you, or I'm the mayor's assistant. I want to email you something. It's a scholarship. He remembered you and that $100 or that $500 that you gave, and that cool conversation that you had. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is how the game works. Don't run from the game. Don't run away from it. Embrace it. Immerse yourself in the system and extract as much power and resources from it as you possibly can. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Anybody who wants to come in and chop it up, maybe I missed a couple of daytime people. This is just a general overview. There's only so much I can do in an hour. And normally I'm sitting up at night writing this stuff in the middle of the night, you know, trying to brainstorm between practicing law. But maybe I missed a couple, but this is not an exclusive list. All right. The Witch Dr. G said, my grandpa was the first black city councilman in my town. He always brought me around, the mayor, DA, chief, police. There you go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? If you appreciate the format and you appreciate what we're doing here, then make sure you contribute to the Cash App. Make sure you contribute to the PayPal. Make sure you donate to the Super Chat. It's only you and your contributions that keep this thing going. Thanks.
What's up, you guys? This is Dennis Sperling. I am back at you guys with Dennis Sperling Unfiltered. And this is going to be we're going to focus more on the unfiltered part than we are on the Dennis Sperling part, because I'm going to give you guys some raw information, and you can call it negative, you can call it positive. The question that you need to be asking yourself is whether or not it's accurate, and will it help you facilitate the objective? The objective being for you to be able to create a social network, to harness power, have influence over people, and have influence over the circumstances that you exist in this life. Now, earlier, we started a 7-day program, and that is being the man about town. And the reason I brought that up is because there are a lot of black men who are becoming affluent, who are moving out of the lower rungs of the economic status and up into the middle class and higher classes. But the mistake that many of us make is we begin to believe that money is the root or money is the end all be all, and it's not. It's just the beginning. Money merely gives you access to power. Money merely gives you access to influence if you're willing to harness that power, if you're willing to utilize or capture that influence or use that influence. It's not the end all be all. So just because you got a couple $100,000 coming in every year, just because you got that nice car, just because you have a nice job, that doesn't mean anything. What really what really tops it all for everyone is your ability to create a social network that can protect you. So here we are, protect you and enhance the quality of your life, and also help you protect the ones you love. So if you guys can hear me, make sure you hit the number 1 button. I want to know everybody in here, hit the number 1 button and give me a shout out where you're from. Shout out to my moderators, Excalibur and Malika McBain. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you guys keeping the chat room clear of, the undesirables, so to speak, people who would distract us from this conversation, this very important conversation. I want to explain to you that being the man about town is not just about knowing people that exist in the daytime, the mayors, police chiefs, the sheriffs, the lawyers. It's also about knowing people who have occupations that require them to be nocturnal. So who to know? Nighttime people, right? Who to know? Nighttime people. We don't just exist in the day. We are a 24-hour organism. So, and I'm saying all this as a disclaimer because I'm probably going to surprise a few people with some of my conclusions. And this might be just a little too raw for everybody to understand. But the truth is, you cannot really exist in this world and have a social life and socialize if you don't operate in the nighttime. And when I say nighttime, I mean weekends also. Okay. And I don't mean just Sunday mornings at 11 o'clock. I mean the day party and Sunday afternoon. I mean the nighttime. I mean the club. I mean the after party at the strip club. This is what I'm talking about. You guys would be surprised how many deals are done. How many deals are done on the weekend? How many deals are done at nighttime in these parties, in these clubs? You will be shocked how many people get to know each other as on a social level, even though they have daytime jobs and we would categorize as daytime people. They still, what? They still socialize in the evenings. They still socialize at those happy hours. And isn't it great if you're at a happy hour club or you're at a happy hour bar and it's happy hour and you know the manager, or and your boss is there and your boss is like, man, you were the man about town. I didn't know you knew. You see, imagine you walking into some corporate event and you got a beautiful woman on your arm, gorgeous. They're trying to figure out, who is this guy? How does he know this woman? It causes for your social status to increase. And your social status has a lot to do with your social network. People want to get to know you. There's a reason why we would categorize someone like, I don't know, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. We categorize them as nighttime people, right? They're strippers, aren't they? We categorize people like rappers and people like Jay-Z and Beyonce. They're singers and artists. They're nighttime people. They're people who control the night. But presidents and politicians want to meet them, right? Didn't we just hear, what's the lady's name? And Maxine Waters just congratulated Megan Thee Stallion on WAP, the song Wet Ass Punani. So it lets you know those people can give you a certain stamp of approval as far as socialization. You become cool. You become hip. There's a reason why George H.W. Walker Bush was not reelected, and Mr. Bill Clinton at the time, governor of Arkansas, Arkansas, was elected president, took his place because he hung out with Arsenio Hall, he played the saxophone, and his social status immediately rose. Remember, this is a popularity contest, a real life popularity contest. Your influence, your power is dependent on those things. It's unfortunate. It's so shallow, right? Oh my God. Because You would think we would want to make sure everyone is, tested thoroughly and they know their trigonometry and in-depth studies on basic U.S. history and all those things, but that's not what it's about. It's the person who's most relatable. It's the person who has the most influence. It's the person who has a higher social status. That's the person that people want to be around. That, coupled with the fact that you have some money and you know how to conduct yourself, and you know how to carry yourself, wherever you are, respectability, it's going to take you a long way. So without further ado, nighttime people. Nighttime people. These are people who work and they operate and they control the cities and the towns at night. Who are these people? Nighttime people. How about a club manager? How about the owner? There's nothing like walking in the club and the owner of the club or the manager of the club sees you, calls you in, and you walk past everybody. At that point, it doesn't matter who you are. Everybody wants to be associated with you. This happened to me a couple of times. I would not say I'm friends with, but I know a young man who was the manager at a club named Clay here. Clay, CLE. It's a very popular club here in Houston. I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I went to the club. Well, I went there a couple of times. Every time I go, I come in, I have my entourage with me, my bodyguards. I'll probably spend several $1,000s in there popping champagne. I'll try and drink as much of it as I can because, at that point, that's when I'm letting my hair down, whatever part of my hair I have. But what I've noticed is I will invite people and friends. I'll invite friends. I'll invite folks to come over, people from my daytime crowd. And what happens is when they see how I operate in the club, when they see the club manager and these people, what they'll realize is, oh my God, Dennis is not just this lame lawyer. This guy is important. He knows people. He's socialized with people. And what does that do? Now, I'm not in there, dancing from the ceilings. I'm still a lawyer, and oftentimes I'll go in with a sport coat on. But the bottom line is, people see me out and about like that, and they see how the club managers interact with me. And the reason they do that is because I buy a VIP section. I bring my own bodyguards with me so they don't have to worry about me. I'm all profit. On top of that, I may come in 1 or 2 people. It's not like I'm trying to get a whole bunch of people in there. So when they see me, it's like, man, this guy's all profit. He's all profit. He conducts himself like a gentleman. When he doesn't stay there 2, 3, he's not causing any trouble. He has armed off-duty police officers in the building with us, which means that enhances our security. So not only do we have our security, our bouncers, but we also have what? We got this guy with 4 or 5 off-duty T-close officers in here with us. And we're not talking about some young punks with T-shirts on. We're talking about guys dressed in all black or whatever. They might have their coats on. They're good. They're not bothering anybody. They're just posted up at their section. When I want to go to the bathroom, they walk me over there, clear out the bathroom. They leave, I walk in. And so I'm absolutely no profit. I'm all money. I'm all profit for them. They see that, they like that. So of course, when I come in, and I may invite some friends or people who sent me clients, in the past. And, every now and then, I have my friend, I have a friend that hangs out with me sometimes, and she keeps the thoughts away. She keeps the white girls and the thoughts away. Man, you guys, if you know me, you know my good friend, we'll just call her B. B does not let any white women get near me. But and she also shoos away the thoughts, man. So that's another. We have to talk about having at least one good female friend, man. One good sister that's your friend. She keeps them all away from me, man. But anyway, so when my clients or the future clients and people see that, they like, oh my God, we didn't know who you were. And so what do? The next day, they want to stay being my friend. They want to keep me in their good graces. So what do? They send me more clients. They give me referrals. They speak up on me. You see what I mean? They say good things about me, man. He's so cool, especially if you treat them like a host should. Hey, man, you know what? You just give a guy the 200-300 bottles of champagne. That might be his whole week's salary. And you just gave it to him like he's the man. He's in the VIP section with the bodyguards. And of course, the women are going to come around. And when there's women and you got champagne and people look, everybody's looking, you know, it didn't cost me anything but a few $1,000s, right? Maybe more, maybe less, whatever. But the bottom line is it creates a certain air of power. That coupled with the fact that you know that the nightclub owner, they give you a certain amount of leeway. And so now when you come back, you're not waiting in any lines. So you're getting in the best clubs. Here you got this 46-year-old man. I can walk to the front of the line. Oh yeah, that's Dennis Pearl. He what is he? A rapper? No. Is he an entertainer? No. He's just a guy. I think he's a lawyer or something. Oh wow, that's amazing. And I just walked to the front of the class. I used to say to people, I went to a club once and I parked my Bentley in the VIP section. It was not right next to the hottest rapper's Bentley. And we walked in and we were sitting right next to each other. I was spending money, he was spending money. We looked the same to me, right? Only thing is, I'm not dependent on the public buying my CDs. I'm going to go back to my day job. But I do know it's a perception of power. It's what people want. They want to come and be. So you're going to have some nighttime events that you're going to have to attend. And they're all not going to be sanctioned by your fraternity or your church club or some cotillion or botellion. You're going to have to get out there with the public, because the public, you got to understand the public. You got to know, how the public thinks, how the public interacts. So you should do that. But yeah, knowing the nightclub manager, knowing the owner, you want to have a party, you want to do something nice, you want to have a VIP section, you got some people coming in town that you want to impress. They're coming to your city from some other place. You take them somewhere like that. I promise you, they will be impressed. You got a CFO or a CEO, one of these white boys who, wants to hang around black people and wants to see what's cracking. One of these Arabs or one of these Hispanic dudes, and they want to see one of these CEOs. They want to see what life is really like. Roll with me. I got you. First of all, I got the daytime tag as an attorney. And then when they, when the bodyguards meet us at the club, they're good. They're like, oh my God, this is what's up. You see what I mean? This is what's up. This is how it should be. And now what? You're their guy. You're beholden to them. You see, now they want to take you to the yacht. You're their plug. You're their road in. You see what I'm saying? They want you to do business. And then after a while, it's like, yeah, that's a cool guy. And you conduct yourself in a certain way. You're known for making money. You're a money maker. It one hand washes the other. Nighttime people, daytime people. So it's always good to know a club manager or a club owner, because that's going to give you some privileges. Now, socialites. Now, I was telling you about my good friend B. B does not let any white women get near me. I think every time there's a white woman within 5 feet of me, whether I'm at a club or at a bar or anything, because she's looking at a B. She got her own boyfriend. She don't even let her friends who might be thoughts get anywhere near me. I mean, like, at least throw me the thoughts. I got to sneak around and get the loose thoughts that's not reporting back to her. But anyway, that's my whole girl B. I love her, man. But what I'm saying is she's a socialite. She knows the city. Very educated woman, graduated top of her class with 3.9 GPA from one of the local universities. I believe that's called summa cum laude. So she's a brilliant young woman, good friend of mine, but she knows everybody. She knows the ballers. She knows the rapper. She knows all these different things. You see, she is the type of person. What's the best club to go? What's the nicest restaurant to go to? You see what I'm saying? Because what that'll do, a person like that who's a socialite, and that's not her permanent job. What I'm saying is, a person like that, they move in different circles. A woman can operate in a woman, depending on how she dresses, how she carries herself, her charisma, her style. She can operate in many different circles that you can't get in. She can get in and out. It's no different than having a queen on the board in your chess game. She can go all the way across the board and come back. That's a very influential and powerful piece. She can move back and forth, everything. She can go here and there. Only thing she can't do is move like a knight, which is the epitome of masculinity. But the bottom line is, if you got somebody like that, all you got to do is sit back. She's going to make things happen. You give her one call, send a text message. She's going to tell you to hire this restaurant, where to go. Somebody like that, that's a socialite. You want to keep that person. She knows all the ballers. You see what I'm saying? So this is not a person. You don't want to mess this relationship up. See, here's another thing, fellas. And I'm talking to all you guys, and I want you guys to listen to me. I want you to listen to me very seriously. Okay, you can mess a lot of good up, mess a lot of good things up, and good things that could happen to you by leading with your penis. You shouldn't be trying to sleep with every woman that you meet. Yeah, there are attractive women out there, but some women you should just keep them intact and allow them to remain your friend or your colleague or your associate. Sometimes you can mess things up by even pretending or trying to flirt with somebody. Why not just be cool? If you meet a nice woman who's cool, and you guys got a nice relationship, y'all could be friends, man, roll with that, man. Because if nothing else, she's going to introduce you to all her friends, and most likely one or two of them are going to like you because she's cool with you. She's going to give you a stamp of approval. He's cool. That's y'all like sisters or brothers or something like that. Don't go leading with your penis just because it's a fine woman. Just chill, man. Some of you brothers, man, especially you brothers, man, you get your manhood and how many women you can lay down with, wrapped up. And those things are too different. And you can mess your power up sleeping with the wrong woman. See, look at Paul Castellano, the famous mafia boss. His whole family lost respect for him because he started banging the Colombian maid while his wife was in the house. So they like, dude, you lost all that power, all that influence over some maid sex. Basically, you sleeping, you banging the help, man, and you disrespecting your wife, you disrespecting your house. You look bad. It's not worth it. And what do? Somebody end up popping him in front of the steakhouse in New York. You see what I mean? So I say all that to say, if you don't have penis control, then you're not going to be able to remain friends with a socialite. Okay, you're not going to be able to do it because you're going to be trying to holler at her, and that's just going to mess it up, and that's just going to mess the whole vibe up. Don't do that. It's okay to be friends with women. You should be friends with most of the women that you interact with. You should not be banging all the women that you meet. That's just stupid. It shows a lack of maturity, and you're just wasting time and playing, and you messing around. You know what I mean? So just what I'm telling you cats is, man, just listen to me, and I haven't had my fair share of women, but I know the women to deal with on that level and women not to. I never slept with any women that I went to law school with. And there's a reason why. The reason being because I know those women who are in that professional school, those professional programs, they're going to end up being judges. They're going to end up being lawyers. They're going to end up being prosecutors. They're going to end up being, who else? They're going to end up being congressmen. Some of them may end up being, all sorts of different places. And so what is the point of having a relationship with somebody, and then that relationship, more than likely than not, is going to fail? And now what did you done? You got somebody out there who has animosity towards you. That's all I'm saying. And you messed up because you couldn't control yourself, man. You see? So I say all that to say, yeah, you should have socialites. You should have female friends at the socialite. One good socialite homegirl who knows the city, who can run you around the city, introduce you to these people, put you in different circles, invite you to different places. Oh man, that's a win. That's an all the way out win. The way you keep a woman like that happy, you make sure you acknowledge, you treat her special. It's your birthday, girl. You just want you like her homeboy, you like her big brother. People, they might not understand your relationship, but it's all good. You see what I'm saying? You like the homie. And when you run it like that, man, that creates a certain air about yourself. You get to, man, now you got all kind of tags of approval about yourself. But yeah, you should definitely get to know a socialite because she can introduce you to everybody who's important, whether it's baseball players, basketball players. She can keep it hot for you, man. I promise you, man. And a good socialite can run in the daytime and the nighttime. Keep that in mind. But next up, bodyguards. Before we go any further, guys, look, you guys, man, it's 7:24 at night. I'm up here, giving you guys this good information. You want to make sure you show me you appreciate what I'm doing and contribute to the super chat and the Cash App and the PayPal. Okay, it's 30 minutes in. You guys, I know, I get it. Your check probably ain't come. You're waiting for that good stimulus check. I feel you, man. But the way you show me you appreciate what I'm doing is, man, you contribute, man, because this is not information you're going to get anywhere. You're getting this from somebody who lives this life. I'm not playing. I live this life, and I'm telling you this works. I'm telling you it's not just about money. It's also about social status. There's so many people that I know that you guys have no idea. The people that you look up to and on TV, like, oh, my God, I know. They know. Yeah, I know Dennis, bro. Yeah, I know him. Oh, yeah, he's cool people. Oh, yeah. Just as casual. I say, hey, what's up? You're like, man, you know that dude? Yeah. And you don't see me dropping all them names either because I don't have to. There's no need to do it. If I need to get at somebody, I get at them. That's how it works. But either way, you guys make sure you contribute to the super chat. Thank you, Jordan Baltimore. Y'all keep these super chats and Cash Apps and PayPals, man. Y'all contribute, man. Show me you appreciate what I'm doing. I could be doing a lot of I got a lawsuit I got to draft. I got to sue somebody by tomorrow. And so, make sure you contribute, show your appreciation for what I'm doing by contributing. The Cash App is right here, and the PayPal is running across the bottom of the screen. Now, so we'll continue 30 minutes in, and we'll talk about bodyguards. Bodyguards, bouncers. You need to know these guys. Why? Because, see, a bodyguard is something you need to have around you. This gives you, first of all, it is a physical barrier between you and someone who might try to reach out and touch you. And there's nothing that makes you seem powerless, more powerless than somebody you sitting in, you sitting in your nice car, or you riding around and you popping champagne bottles at the day party. And then some clown runs up and infiltrates your section, and you got to wait for security to come. Because I'm not going to mess up my nice suit, and I'm damn sure not going to pop nobody over occupying some seat that I don't own. But you don't want to be left in a position of helplessness. You want to go ahead and project power. You can project power when you bring your own bodyguards. Now, some of you guys are like, dude, don't you think that's a little too far? Well, if you do like I do and you roll by yourself, usually it's me and 10 or 15 different women in my section. And I might invite some of my homeboys. You see what I'm saying? And I don't expect my friends to have to be playing pushing and shoving with anybody, period. So what do? I bring 4 or 5, 200, 300-pound dudes, 6'8", 6'7" cops. And I even had a woman one time. I had a woman who worked at a women's correctional facility. I was dancing with a young lady, and another young lady decided she was going to come up and dance with the young lady I was dancing with. So the female correctional officer walked up to the woman. I guess, the woman was part of the alphabet community. She walked up to the other woman, got in her face and said, I'm going to sock you in your neck if you don't back up and get out this section. I was like, woo-wee. I kept dancing with the pretty girl. You see what I mean? that is more power and influence. When people see that, they like, wow, this is how this dude operates. I didn't have to do anything. They walked me in, they walked me out. Typically the bodyguards, they know, you know, the other bodyguards because they all work the same circuit. You're paying them, maybe you pay them $1,000. What is that? The cost of a bottle of Ace of Spades? So for the cost of a bottle of Ace of Spades, I can save your football career. I can save your basketball career. You see what I'm saying? You got your bodyguards, I got mine. The only difference is mine's are cops and yours are some dudes that's from your neighborhood. So who's gonna be able to go home tonight? You see what I'm saying? I'm going home tonight because I'm gonna let my police officer bodyguards talk to the police officers that they work with in the daytime, sort that out. In the meanwhile, I'm gonna be in the truck or the Uber or whatever, headed back to the hotel where I'm staying. And so you need that. I know, right? You like, damn, D, that's too far. This conversation ain't for everybody. Okay, it's not for everybody. This is not for the college student who is, 21 years old and this is first time hanging out with his friends. This is for up and coming men who have something to lose. This is for men who entered into the middle class, upper middle class, who have entered into the rich class. You have something to lose. You got a couple $1,000s to spend on some bodyguards. You have that. You should. If not, you should. If you're gonna go out, you should make sure that you have a safe way in and a safe way out, and there's not gonna be any problems. You see what I'm saying? So this is not conversation is for you brothers. As I said before, being the man about town. Not everybody is the man about town. It's probably a handful of them. It's not for everybody, but you guys, if you listen to this and you work for it, what I'm saying, you'll get to that point. This is how I operate in my city. This is how I get down. Other nighttime people, right? Strippers. Yeah, strippers. Who to know? Nighttime people, strippers. Anybody want to know, try to figure out where I'm going before I go there? Does anybody want to try that? Yeah, we're going to talk about strippers next. In the meantime, you guys contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal.
Hey, what's up, everybody? If you appreciate the format and you appreciate what we're doing here, then make sure you contribute to the Cash App. Make sure you contribute to the PayPal. Make sure you donate to the Super Chat. It's only you and your contributions that keep this thing going.
Little in-house entertainment myself. Anyway, like I'm saying, fellas, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. That was fun, man. Anyway, you guys make sure you contribute to the Super Chat and the Cash App, man, if y'all appreciate what I'm doing, man. You guys make sure you show your appreciation. We got 102 people in the chat room, and then let's see, we got 88 likes. Get the likes up, fellas. Show me your appreciation by getting the likes up, man. I appreciate that. But anyway, look, man, let me say this. This is a grown man conversation. We're gonna talk. This is grown men talking. Okay. All right. And I live in H-Town. Okay. I live in H-Town, and in H-Town, you have some of the most well-known ladies of the night. Strippers, as we call them, dancing gals, whatever you want to call them. Not top of the heap at this point being Megan Thee Stallion. Okay. And the one thing that we all can agree, okay, and I ain't been to the strip club in many years now. I like 4 or 5 actually. Well, maybe 2. I don't know. I can't remember. The strippers are fun. They are fun. They're exciting in their environment. Now, if you catch one outside the strip club, probably not so fun. You're gonna hear a whole yeah. But in the strip club, strippers are fun. Okay. Now, why would you want to know a stripper if you're a doctor or a lawyer? Because fellas, sometimes you're going to want to blow off a little steam. Sometimes you're going to have friends who are influential who come from out of town, and they're going to want to go somewhere. And they want to know that they have a lot to lose. and they want to go somewhere and they want to feel comfortable. Not that you can ever feel comfortable in, you know, any place, nightclub, whatever, because anything could happen. But the bottom line is, my man said, I've been to Club Onyx in Houston a few years ago. Well, yeah, me too, brother. But anyway, you know, you want to get to know the strippers, you know, and not all of them. And I'm not saying you need to know they have their phone number and their address and everything. But when you come in, they know, oh, that's dude. Yeah, he cool. You know what I'm saying? They tell you their stage name. You give them your fake name, whatever. But they know you by face. And when you come in, they treat you a certain way. Now, I'm not saying you going in there spending $200, $300, you know, $400, $500, $800, your whole, you know, tax return check. We go in there, throw a couple of hundreds at them, you know, a few ones here, whatever. Have a good time, have a drink, get to know them, let them sit on your lap, get a lap dance, whatever, and go. But be cool, chop it up, be cool, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Be cool. So when you come back there the next time, oh yeah, that's old boy, he cool, you know, he's a lawyer. That must be one of his little lawyer friends. He's a straight up L7. You know what I mean? They know you're in there just for entertainment. You're not in there doing some dirt. But see, some of y'all cross that line. Some of y'all want to go to the upper room. Some of y'all want to go to the VIP section, the special VIP section. Some of y'all trying to take them to the hotel at night. You see what I'm saying? That's what you're doing. And you're doing too much. That's just, because see, once you cross that line with them, you stop being that cool guy who comes in and you just become a trick. You just become another one of their tricks. And now they got you and plus however many 30 or 40 other dudes that's their tricks. So what I'm trying to get you guys to do, you want to know them. You don't want to know them in the biblical sense of the word. You don't want to know them, okay? You want to know them. And so you go, you meet a cool stripper, and if you meet a cool stripper, man, and you cool, you say, hey, what's popping tonight? What time you gonna be at the club? I got some of my friends from out of town. They want to come check it out. You bring your homeboys over there. They having a good time. That gives you more influence with them because they like, man, he know his city. We went to a cool club. We had bodyguards after that, man. We was popping bottles and whatnot. Then we went to a strip club. All the strippers was cool with him, man. He was a cool dude, man. That was a great time. And that gives you more status and influence. Now, I know all my Bible thumpers, all my church going, he ain't talking about that's a house of ill repute. I can't believe it. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get it, man. It's just an occupation. You see what I'm saying? And if you got people like Maxine Waters and former First Lady Michelle Obama praising Cardi B, who was clearly a stripper, and Megan Thee Stallion, who was a stripper. If you got them saying they put their stamp, what I'm trying to tell you, fellas, is that the women don't really care. They all actually stick together. You see what I'm saying? They cool with it. They like that kind of a little bit. You see what I'm saying? They might not actually admit it to your black ass, but they're not tripping on it too hard. So the main thing is knowing how to conduct yourself wherever you go. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. You conduct yourself. What can I get out of this person? See, you can sit in the strip club and chop it up with one of these ladies, and she know you ain't really tripping on her, and you not that sick. You would not falling in love. You done gave her goddamn $100 and gave her $20 for a lap dance. Now you sitting there sipping on your goddamn cheap ass rum and your Coke, and you looking at your clock because at 3:15 you about to head up out of here anyway. Okay, but the bottom line is you chopping it up with her. She cool. You know, you say, when you coming back? Yeah, I'll be back maybe in about a month or two. I got one of my homeboys coming to town. You gonna be working here? I don't know. I'll let you know. I'm like, all right, cool, baby. Well, go back to your dorm, mom, and take my phone number if you need a lawyer, you need a doctor, whatever, whoever's that. Just hit me up. Be cool. She probably ain't gonna never call because she was drunk when she took your information. But the next time she sees you, she recognizes you a cool dude. And over some time, you develop a relationship. Don't be somebody that's in the strip club every goddamn weekend. Don't treat it like an after party. That's a place you go maybe once a year, maybe twice a year. You go on your birthday, maybe 3 times a year at the most. That's what you do. You handle yourself accordingly. But when you do go in, right? When you do go in, man, people know you. You see what I'm saying? It's no different than knowing the bartender at one of the local bars. They know you because you tip well. You treat them with respect. You carry yourself respectfully. You're not all in there doing that crazy stuff. Even how you dress and how you get. Don't go in there and be disgusting and be some sort of disgusting perverted slob when you go into the strip club. Okay, I get it. Don't let your imagination don't get carried away with yourself, fellas. Be your better self. All right, that's what I'm trying. Imagine Uncle D is standing there saying, "Young man, control your goddamn self. Okay, cut it out. You're making me look bad." Remember that. That's all I'm saying. But you know, you're just going there to blow off some steam. You're going there to be seen. You're cool. You meet some people. So again, this is not. Remember when I talked earlier about tangentially knowing somebody. That means you're loosely related. You know the person. I went there. Oh yeah, I know Candy Dropper. Yeah, the little chick. Yeah, I know Candy Dropper. Hey, Candy Dropper. You see her on stage. You give her a little $20. She come to your table. What's up? Thank you. I got somebody else lap to go jump on. I'll be back over here in 15 minutes. You there with your people. Y'all chopping it up. Nobody's getting carried away. It's good. You're establishing foundations. Now, don't try to bring none of your nighttime friends that's a stripper to any of your daytime events. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, don't do that. All right, don't try to mix that company. Don't bring, and I'm gonna have a whole conversation about turning your girls out by trying to make them cool. One of the worst things these dudes can do is take your woman who is a what you would consider the woman that you want to have your children, some woman you trying to set a moral standard for, you bringing her to the goddamn strip club. That's a strike. That's just stupid. Don't do it. But we'll talk about that on another video later this week. But yeah, get to know, you know, be cool. But y'all, like I said, you're not bringing her home to meet grandma. You're not in that capacity. You see what I'm saying? You're not. Maybe she could be a client. Who knows? But the bottom line is, man, you just going. This is how you meet people. Don't overdo it. But this, you got to have penis control. You can't be thinking with the little head. You got to be always having the objective in hand. So remember that the objective is the accumulation of power, social status, and influence. And this is how you begin to garner. My man Alex said you could turn a stripper into a housewife. We're gonna talk about that. You can marry anybody. These days you can marry a rock. You see what I'm saying? But that's the subject we'll talk about another time. Next up, local artists. You want to know? My man said, I bet Uncle D has some stories. Yeah, I got some stories, man. I don't want everybody listening. My old lady here. I have to hit me up. If you want to hear all of Uncle D's stories, hit me up. Send me an email. I give you some stories, man. But knowing local artists. When I say local artists, you want to know local comedians. You want to know the local hip hop artists, the local singers in the bars. You want to know these people. And the reason you want to know these people is because when you go to places like that, you know, they're influencing the crowd. They're the MCs. They control the mic. So when they see you, oh, that's Dennis Sperling right there. It's been many a time back in the day, 10 years ago now, maybe, wow, closer to 15 years. I would walk in the club. Oh, that's Attorney Dennis Sperling. Who was that? That's the Go DJs. How did the Go DJs know Attorney Dennis Sperling? Where's that link? Because I've hired a couple of them to do my all-white parties back when I was having parties back in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, and whatnot. I've hired them and I've paid money. I've spent money with them. And so because of that, they know me. I know them. And so they'll give me a shout out. But also, these people also have connections. People want to know them. Hey, man, you know what? I know this guy who needs some work done for this business or that business. The reason that I was able to enter into the entertainment business, i.e., from the corporate side of it, i.e., filming my own television shows, finance, and that, is because I knew so many people in the entertainment business just from knowing them. And they know me as a stand-up guy. They know me as a straight-laced business guy. So they're willing to do business with me. They like, yeah, that's Dennis Spurling. He not only did he have a partner, but he's a cool guy at that. He's not some disgusting creep out there. You see what I'm saying? So knowing these local artists, you'll get to know who they know. They'll pull people your way. If you're a cool, good guy, it works out. So just, you know, and then also photographers. Now, why did I put a photographer as a nighttime person? Because photographers typically, they are the ones that take pictures of the nighttime people. Yeah, you might hire them to do a family photo shoot, but they make the vast majority of their money working in clubs, taking photographs of women who want to be models, doing camera work. These type of people are influential. These people actually go everywhere. They're like water. They get everywhere. They meet politicians, they meet athletes, they meet everybody because they're the photographers. So if you get to know the right photographer can always put you in the right places at the right time. Some of these things that we're learning are overlapping. The photographer is going to know a lot of the same people that the socialites know. The bodyguards are going to know a lot of the same people that the club managers and the owners know. The photographers also. And the next up we're going to go to is music producers. You want to know a music producer. Why? Because music gets everywhere. Everybody, you got local music, guys that play music, not just music producers, people in bands and stuff like that. Get to know them. Be that guy. You know, you want to be the guy when you go different places, people know you. All sorts of me. I remember one time I had a DJ in this room and I had a whole band over in another room when I was having one of my day parties here at my house several years back in celebration of my pending divorce. I celebrated by having all sorts of parties here at my house and just really enjoying life. So, you know, these are some things that, these are just some ideas. These are night people, okay? And I put them in the category because let's say night, we'll call people who night people, they get paid in cash, all right? Day people, they get W-2s, they went to college to get the degree. You don't necessarily go to college to be a nightclub owner. You don't need to go to college to be a socialite, local artist, photographer, music producer. And even though some college students are strippers, you don't need to go to college to learn how to be a stripper. Okay, but these are people, these are nighttime people. You don't want to overdo it if you're a daytime person. If you're a nighttime person, you need to know all these people. A nighttime person who's a club owner, he needs to know all the strippers, all the local artists, all the music producers, all the socialites, because that's good for his business. A person like me who is a daytime person, I need to know all the lawyers, all the doctors, whether I'm doing business with them or not. I might need a client or referral, whatever, all the politicians. But either way, I'm not judging. You see what I'm saying? I'm just telling you that you need, just like a nighttime person, a nighttime club manager or a business, he needs to know some daytime people. You see what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. But in the meantime, we got some time. You guys ain't kicking in no Cash Apps or no PayPals. But we'll try and get this conversation going. You guys.
Thank you, everybody, for your contributions. I appreciate it. Let's keep it going. Donate to the Super Chat. Donate to the PayPal. Donate to the Cash App. It's your contributions and your donations that'll cause for this platform to grow. Let our voice be the voice, the preeminent voice in Black America.
Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Dennis Spurling, and I am back at it again, back in the chair of power. But anyway, man, shout out to everybody in the chat room. Malika and Bane, Excalibur, Thundercat. He says, Mr. Spurling, cripping back in LA. Oh, man. And then Afro Patriarch, this is going to be my quote of the day. He says, I'm in here like a thong between big booty butt cheeks. That's what's up, man. I had to post that up, man. That was a fun one. But anyway, look, guys, we are continuing our series this week. What we're talking about is being the man about town. Why is this even important? Where did that even come from? The man about town is not just the guy who has his self together, but also men who have social contacts. Everybody will tell you, get out there, get rich. You'll have money. It'll answer all of your, it'll fix all your problems, but that's not necessarily true. You also need to have social contacts. You need to have people you can call on, people who can vouch for you. What's the sense of being a rich guy, right? You're a rich guy. You're there with your people, and nobody knows you. So let's say you're out at some social event. It could be a club, after hours club, whatever. But you got to wait in line, or you got to pay your way through the VIP line. There's a VIP line, and then there's the very important people line. You know, extra special people line, and they usually come in the back door. They don't even wait. They get out their cars. They walk right in. That's darn near ownership status. Okay. And so it makes you look bad. People are saying, yeah, you know, I'm well known. I got this, I got it going on. And then they get treated like everybody else. You see, the man about town doesn't do that. You're doing other people a favor when you show up. And what I'm trying to do is give you guys that sort of angle. How do you get to that point? How do you get to the point where the mayor of your city walks up to you and shakes your hand and whispers in your ear, man, great job. I appreciate what you're doing. I'm glad to see you here. And you can take that same, you know, that same thing, and you can go to a late night club, you know, and the bar owners or the manager comes up to you, hey man, welcome, happy to see you back here. And you can do the same thing. You can go to a strip club, and the strippers are like, hey, what's up? Big Poppy is back, whatever they call you, whatever stage name you give them. Back in the day when I would go to a strip club, they would give me their stage name, so I'd give them my stage name. Usually be like, you know, Big Red or something like that, man, or Four Eyes. I don't know, whatever it is, whatever BS came on my, and that's the way you begin to chop. They don't take me seriously. I don't take them seriously, but that's another subject. We kind of hit on that yesterday. But look, there's 64% of Black men are entering into the middle class, right? So you're getting money. There's 20% of Black men who are rich or elite. You guys you've done it. You've done everything you could, but the world is not, you know, opening up to you like the oyster that it's supposed to be. You go places, you still get treated the same way. And that's probably because you haven't changed your mindset. You're probably hanging around the same people you did before. You don't know how to make your time valuable. You don't know how to maximize your time. You don't know who to deal with, who to get to know. We talked about daytime people. We talked about nighttime people. And see, there's another category, right? People you should know, people you don't want to know. And that's what we're going to talk about today. It makes no sense for you to do all this stuff, and you got all this social credibility and all this social status, and then you end up associated with the wrong person or the wrong type of people. That's as deadly to you in a social setting as being the guy who doesn't brush his teeth and doesn't comb his hair and has a musty body odor. Nobody wants to be around you. You're the skunk of society. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is, you got to be careful who you associate with, who you know, who you don't know. Okay, or as I put it on here, who not to know. Now, fellas, this is going to step on some toes, and this is going to hurt some feelings, because unfortunately in the Black community, we uplift some of these people. These are some of our neighborhood heroes. These are these people, that this category that I'm going to give you guys is going to make you say, man, you know what, blah, blah, blah. You think you're better than us. You see what I mean? And it's not that. I'm just trying to help you to learn how not to become a social pariah. Now, who not to know doesn't mean you don't actually know of these people. It doesn't mean that these people aren't in your family. It doesn't mean you didn't attend school with these people. It doesn't even mean that you didn't do business with these people in some manner or fashion. For instance, I'm a lawyer, and on my list, I have dealers, pimps, chomos, which is another term for child molesters, rapists, scammers, predator types, gangsters. I'm sure that I've represented a plethora in each one of those categories, those people who may have been injured in a car accident or some other form, whether it's some sort of business deal that I'm setting up. Because one other thing that I do that I rarely talk about, but I'm opening this up to you guys, anybody who wants to start their own corporation, you want to start your own company, send me an email. I can help you with that. The email is at the bottom of the screen. You want to start your own corporation. I'm usually pretty open about doing that. I got a really quick turnaround. I can help you do that. So I've helped some of these people. My very own cousin, allegedly, is you know, a dealer, and I'll leave it at that. But I help him start his business. So I'm not saying you don't know these people. I'm saying who not to know. In other words, I'm not affiliated with this person in that capacity. I may do some straight up business with them. If you're a doctor, I'm sure you got all manner of folks that you represent, that you treat. If you're a lawyer, if you're an accountant, if you're an engineer, you may own a coffee shop. You may own some sort of business. You're going to be associated with these people in that regard, but not in their capacity as to what they do, and not in a social setting, only business-wise. So that said, again, I know some of you guys you're not gonna like what I'm gonna say, but this is for those who want to be the man about town. And what you don't want to do is associate yourself with someone who's gonna undermine your credibility, make the mayor not want to come anywhere near you, make his advisor whisper in his ear, "No, don't go over there. You stay over here with us." Period. You see what I mean? You don't want any photographs with that guy. You don't want to touch him. He's a pariah. We get it. Look at Jeffrey Epstein. Look at everybody now trying to hide away from their photographs that they had with Jeffrey Epstein because he's a pedo. He's a chomo. He's a child molester. And you don't want that person's social stigma to be associated with you. So nevertheless, first up, drug dealers. I understand in the Black community, the drug dealer for some people is a justifiable occupation. I mean, after all, he employs people. He brings money into the neighborhood. He takes care of his mama. Once you get to a certain level, you're buying turkeys for the hood, right? You're the one that you're that guy, right? You're the man, right? You're the one that rappers always sing about. I mean, we got rappers now who sung about selling drugs and being drug dealers, and now they're billionaires, right? They're actually attached to certain political candidates. They've performed for the president, or at least been around the president. They've been invited to the White House, right? So I get your point, but still, it's low class. And I don't care what politician or what people say, it's still low class. And you don't have the social wherewithal or I'm gonna call it a social bankroll. You don't have the social credits to take on something like that. You can't change their stigma. They will stigmatize you. Because let me tell you why. Drug dealers are predators. Drugs is not like other crime. It's not like gambling. It's not like racketeering in the form of extortion even. It's not even like strong arm crimes where hitting somebody upside the head or robbing somebody. It's a different nature. It has a more insidious nature, and there's a lot of blood money that's passed through people's hands to get those drugs to people. And then on top of that, drugs have been something that has undermined the American society, period. Now, I'm not saying people don't use drugs. I know there are plenty of people out here who use smack, use white girl, y'all are puffing marijuana every day, that la la la. You're right. I know you guys are doing that. Let me see what else. All the pills. I get it. I understand. Many of you guys do it. And then, of course, there are legal drugs. There are pharmaceuticals and whatever. But you can be a pharmaceutical, a PhD in pharmacy, and not have the stigma of a heroin dealer or not have the stigma of a cocaine dealer. I'm not saying you guys don't know people who deal drugs. What I'm saying is you should not be the person who hangs out. You don't know them. You should not be the person who hangs out with them like your normal group of friends includes a heroin dealer. Because what's going to happen is that's going to make all the judges, the police chiefs, all those daytime people have to shy away from you. They're going to have to say, you know what, I can't deal with you because you got close connections with heroin dealers, and that's just not good for my image. It may be not even good for a nighttime person. You're a club owner and you're hanging around drug dealers all the time. You're inviting an invitation from local law enforcement to come and investigate you, period. And I know you guys don't like this, right? And I understand some of you guys got drug dealers. Some of you guys might have been drug dealers. I get that. Now, I'm not saying you can't rehabilitate yourself, but that puts a stigma on you. You're a heroin dealer, you're a cocaine dealer, even weed. It's one thing if you got a weed dispensary, but even that has a stigma associated with it with most of the world, right? You got a legal weed dispensary in the United States, in one of those states that allow it. I get it. That even that has a certain stigma with it. So imagine being someone associated with an actual illegal drug manufacturing distribution. You don't want to have anything to do with that. Not if you're up and coming socialite. Not if you're somebody who wants to garner power. You want to be able to pull power, and you want to be accepted in cultures, not just culture. You want to be accepted in common society. And here's another thing: you get associated with drug dealers. There are countries that will ban you from coming there. You damn sure can't go to Colombia because they got enough of their own. They don't want you in the UK, right? You can't go to places like Jamaica. They will check on it. They're looking at your internet. You on there with fingers thrown up and smoking weed. And, oh no. They're going to stop you at the port of entry. You see? So what I'm trying to tell, there are countries like that. So keep that in mind. And I know that, I'm stepping on some toes. I get it. For the past 40 years, we have uplifted drug dealer. Yeah, man, he's like the modern day Black Robin Hood, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. But we all know, if we're having an adult conversation, those of you guys who live in Philadelphia, who live over in some of these places where meth is taking over and heroin, people are laid out in the streets. You got meth corridors and heroin corridors in places like Philadelphia. There's nothing sexy about that. And you don't want to be associated with the person who's bringing that hell to these people's lives. It's just going to be a negative it's just going to be a negative stigma associated with it. And you don't want that laden upon you. Here's another thing. You don't believe me? Drugs broke up criminal families. Think about it. Back in the 1970s, most of the heads of the mafia said, we don't want to do drugs. These are criminals, right? These are hardened killers, criminals, bootleggers, but they didn't even want to be associated with drugs because it brings too much to the family, too much attention. There's too much negative stigma associated with it. So you don't want to be known as a person who hangs out with drug dealers. Even women who date drug dealers, leave those women alone, man, because you should see them in a different light. If a woman tells you, yeah, I used to date a D-boy, blah, blah, you should see her in a different light. When you hear these women talking about, even some of these rappers talking about the men that they dated who sold drugs, you should look at her for what she is. You see, and that is not a woman of high caliber and high social status. Now, I'm not saying you don't smoke weed. I'm not saying some of you guys do harder drugs than that. But the idea that you would pal around with drug dealers, that you would pal around with people like that, openly and knowing that they're drug dealers, that's a whole different level. That's your social class. That's who you're choosing to hang around. So if you choose to hang around heroin dealers and cocaine dealers, and then you think that somebody from the mayor's office or the governor's office is going to want to be cool with you, yeah, they'll take your money. Yeah, they'll accept your contribution. They might even shake your hand. But at the end of the day, they're going to deny you like Peter did Jesus on the judgment day. Period. They don't know you. They're not going to be cutting you any favors. You're undermining your credibility, your soul. They're not going to do you any favors. So yeah, they'll take your money, but it's a blank move. You're trying to make friends. It's a blank move. They don't even know where your money came from, realistically. So what I'm telling you guys is, man, just don't do it. Yeah, I know you got family or you got friends who are that. Yeah, you might get a pass for that because, hey, man, that's my cousin, that's my brother, that's my uncle. I was born into this family. But at the point where you actively choose to hang around these people, then you got to separate. You got to realize you're making a choice that you're gonna have to deal with those consequences. Yeah, life is unfair. You may have to literally family divorce some people. You just like, you know what? I know that's my brother, but I can't touch you, bro. Like I can't be around you, man. Like I'm a family man. I'm clean cut. I got a good reputation. I can't hang around a heroin dealer, even if it is my uncle. Period. I just can't do it, bro. It's bad business. Nobody that I deal with will want to touch me. And that's why, the more success you have, the higher you rise, you're going to have to begin to separate yourself from certain people. Some places you can't go anymore. You can't go back to the old neighborhood anymore. You might not be able to go to great grandma's house for Thanksgiving because you know such and such, Pookie and Ray Ray and them might be there, and they're gonna be in the front yard smoking weed and maybe even doing worse. So you have to begin to protect yourselves. Okay, fellas. So that's my spiel on drug dealers, and I took a little bit more time to talk about it because I know that's a sensitive area for a lot of Black folks, because in the Black community we often venerate in the drug dealer, and I hate, it's horrible. We make songs about them, but that's why I put that thumbnail up. Look at the thumbnail I put up. Where am I? Can you guys read that? That's Pablo Escobar's grave. That's his grave site in Medellin, Colombia. I went down there and I stood in front of that man's grave site. That's where he is. Died at 40-something years old. Billionaire Pablo Escobar. And about 100 yards away from him is Griselda Blanco, the queen of, cocaine, right? And so what I'm telling you is, do not confuse it, okay? We'll take their money. You come in, you want some legal services, I got you. I represent you. You want to buy 100 BMWs and, you want to buy BMWs and Rolls Royces, I'll take your money. You want to pop 100 bottles in the club, in the hotel, I'll take your money. But I'm not going to hang out with you in a social setting. I'm not coming over and having tea and crumpets with you. You see, we're not on that same level. Yeah, I'll take your money, but I'm not dealing with you on a social level. Matter of fact, I'm not dealing with you or anybody who has dealt with you on a social level. I don't even want to share an ex-girlfriend with one of these guys. And you guys need to begin to think like that. Once a woman makes those choices, and that's the type of man she wants, she's laid down with dogs, and she's going to come up with fleas, and those fleas invariably are going to bite you in your social life. So you steer clear of those type of women. I'm just saying, fellas, if you're upwardly mobile, you're in the middle class, upper middle class, you're rich, you did it the right way, man. Stay clean, man. Don't step on that side, man. Stop hanging around. Next up, pimps. Now, we love to hear the philosophy of pimps, right? As if they are the modern day philosophy, as though they're the modern day Aristotle's or something like that. All that gibberish and back talk and foolishness. We love to hear it, right? It's fun to listen to. All right, it's fun to listen to, but let me tell you something. Pimps don't have dental plans, and most pimps will tell you that it's not easy. Pimping ain't easy, right? Pimping you end up in jail. You end up medical issues, oftentimes sexual issues, heart disease, stress. Can you imagine trying to keep in line a flock of women? Are you kidding me? That's like herding cats. Are you kidding me? Get out of here. But before we go any further, look, shout out to Zoe MGTOW, man. Shout out to all my MGTOW, man. I love the MGTOW guys. I love the philosophy. I love to see where it's evolving. It's definitely something that any man who considers himself a social scientist, is definitely a philosophy that should be studied, a way of life should be studied. And as a novice social scientist myself, I want to always make sure we acknowledge MGTOW, because the men's right movement, MGTOW, that is the heart of the red pill, movement. That is the thinking mass. That is the thinking blob of red pill in itself. Those guys are the ones. That's the source of all this knowledge, because they sat down, they put themselves alone, they thought about it. Just like David, when he came up and wrote the Psalms, some of the best knowledge, some of the best accomplishments come from men who decide to isolate themselves and think, not searching out women, absenting themselves from desire, but just focusing on themselves and who they are, and identifying themselves and honestly dissecting the world around them. So shout out to the MGTOW guys. Introspection, that's a great word to call it. But so I appreciate, thank you so much, Zoe MGTOW. I appreciate the super chat. And anybody else, guys, if you appreciate what I'm doing here, man, don't just have me here talking. Clearly, I'm giving you guys life lessons here. I'm teaching you guys things and having conversations that are uncomfortable. The other day I reminded you guys, hey, look, floss your teeth every day, get some braces. It's only a couple $1,000s. Nobody is telling you how important it is. Everybody tells you what to do, but nobody gives you a hierarchy of importance as to these things. And I'm telling you, you know, the other day, this is good hygiene, blah, blah, blah. And just like I'm telling you now, don't hang around dealers, don't hang around pimps. You see what I mean? And that's just the first two. So if you appreciate what I'm getting, what I'm giving to you, then show your appreciation. If I'm adding something to you, you add something to me. Your $5, your $20, your $100, however much you decide to give is greatly appreciated. It shows me that you appreciate what I'm doing. The Cash App is there, the PayPal is there. So show me your appreciation. Now here's the thing about pimping, right? And you guys, man, I'm still working, so I'm getting emails and text messages. And it's hard because this is the middle of my day here. But I'm doing this, guys, for you guys. So make sure Make sure you guys show your support by contributing to the super chat. All right, I appreciate it. So here we go. Next up, let's talk about pimps. Pimps. In some circles, in some groups of people, you know, other than the Black community, because we like the pimping. It sounds fun, right? It's entertaining, right? We think it's cool, but you don't want to be caught associated with a pimp. You don't want to. That doesn't, because at the end of the day, they're predators. These are predatory people. These are people who prey on women, right? And some dudes will say, well, you know, the thing is, women, they're going to do it anyway. Yeah, but you're praying. It's one thing for a woman to decide she's going to sell herself. Okay, we get it. She's going to do whatever they've been doing that. That's what housewives do. Housewives, they basically, yep, you got some, all right, as long as you're willing to pay for it, daddy, I'm cool with it. We get it. That's what women do. They exchange their body and resources and whatnot for what? For the man with the most money. We get it. And some women just get a direct exchange. I get that. But when you infuse a pimp in there, a male figure, when you put a man in there, even if it's a female, it becomes predatory. You see? And so you're dealing with somebody who's preying on people who are emotionally or psychologically or intellectually inferior. They have control over them. You don't want to associate with that. And in some groups, specifically white folks, you know, in the prison culture, pimps are looked down upon. They are looked down upon like predators because they prey upon women. They prey upon girls. And so, you know, that's generally how you should look at it. In a healthy society, any man who preys upon the women of his group is considered a predator, and he is not someone you want to be associated with. I'm not saying if you work in a auto dealership, you shouldn't sell him a car, or that if you're a doctor, you shouldn't treat them in an emergency room and he comes in there, or that type of person comes in there and he needs health care or services, you shouldn't help him. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is you should not associate with this type of person in social circles. This is not somebody you want to associate with, period. Because if you got pimps and you're hanging out with pimps, or you hanging out with pimp and it's known, other people are not going to want to hang out with you. You go over there, you hang out with them. You can't come over here to this other places and be in more refined company. You just can't do it. Even if they themselves uses the pimp's services. Okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You still don't want to be the person known for hanging out with that person. Let the pimps and the drug dealers, let them hang out amongst themselves. You don't want to do that. That is a predatory type person. Okay, so keep that in mind. So again, dealers, pimps, and here's another one. Child molesters, chomos, as they call them in the California State Correctional Facility. This is the lowest person on earth. You don't want to ever, and see, here's the thing. I don't care if it's your family member. You don't want to associate with somebody like that. You want to get as far away from that type of person as possible. I get it. It's not a comfortable subject to have. But if you got some guy and they they're a child molester, you don't want to have anything to do with them, period. It doesn't matter if it's your brother. It doesn't matter if it's your father. It doesn't matter who it is. I don't care how much you love them. For your own well-being, you want to distance yourself from that type of person. Okay, you just want to distance yourself from that type of person. It's going to be painful if it's somebody close. Now, if this is a person that was falsely accused, that's something different. Okay. And it may be something different if you got a 17-year-old kid, a 17-year-old guy who's messing around with some 16-year-old girl in his school. That's different. If they had a relationship, okay, I get it. I know the laws vary from state to state, but that's a little different. But what I'm talking about is some old SOB, right, messing around with some young kid that you just stay away from, period. Or you can't do it. You cannot do it. Stay away from it. It's no excuses that's going to justify it. There's no way you can explain that away. Yeah, well, I'm hanging out with my brother. Well, why can't he go? Because, yeah, he got accused of being a child molester. Nobody's going to want to hang around you, man. It's not going to happen. He needs to go and hang out with his mom and his dad, period. That's his friends. Those are the people he needs to hang around. But the same goes for rapists. You got somebody who's accused, and I'm not talking about somebody who is, you want to stay away from those type of people, man. And as much as we love Tupac and as much as we love Mike Tyson, right? We give them a pass, but they still were accused of this very heinous crime, right? They still were convicted, or at least, Tupac was convicted of the crime, and then he went up on appeal, and I believe he died before. But still, he had that stigma of being a rapist. So you want to stay away from people like that. And I know we love Tupac. I get it, right? And I get it. There's a whole lot of black men who've been falsely accused of that, of sexual assault. I get it. But you gotta, for your own, you gotta stay away from. You gotta let them sort that out. Period. It's just something that you have to do, And as much as we love Mike Tyson, he's still associated. He's still got that stigma associated. It's still grimy. It's not like he was just some tough guy in the ring and beat up a bunch of people. People stay away from him. They look at him. They're entertained by him, but they don't want him hanging around like that. And I'm sure Mike Tyson will tell you that. That's why every time these reporters bring that up, it's still a sore spot for him, because that accusation closed so many doors for him. He actually did time. He was convicted, found guilty, and did time of it, right? And so officially, in official society, he's a convicted sexual. It is what it is, fellas. And I know you don't like to hear what you're starting to see, right? I talked about dealers, pimps, chomos, rapists. You're starting to see what? A pattern. I'm basically telling you guys to stay away from predators, people who prey upon people who are weaker than them. You don't want to be the type of person who hangs around these type of people, because people are going to perceive you as a predator. So that smile that you're giving them, that donation that you're giving them, they're going to see that as bait, not as an honest gift from your heart, because you have the reputation of hanging out with predators. You see, and so that's why I'm telling you that this is how people are going to perceive you, folks. So just keep that in mind. Next up, scammers, right? What kind of scammers? I'm talking about people who take people's credit cards, people who scam against old people, people who, steal people's identities, these fraudsters, these type of people. They're predators, especially when they're preying upon people that can't defend themselves. All these internet scammers and whatnot. Stay away from people like that who get money like that. They're scammers. There was this guy, right? Billionaire guy, right? Asian dude, right? And what did he do, right? He was discovered. This is recently, right? And I'm looking for the name of another one. Let me see. Excuse me for a minute. I'm looking for the name of another one of these guys. Bernie Madoff is another one. He and as much money he had, right? As much money as he had, he's basically a scammer. You know, he got this whole Ponzi scheme built up using one group, somebody's money to pay for somebody else's debt. It just, stay away from people like that. You know, and you see what they did. Didn't matter how much money he had. Look where he ended. He ended up in prison. One of his sons committed suicide, and I forget the name of the other Asian guy. But you want to stay away from people like that. You got so many people thinking, oh, I can get my money any kind of which way, get money at all costs. But even amongst, you know, the underworld, you know, you got levels to it, right? You got levels to it. You're making your money doing child porn. You're the lowest of the low. You're disgusting. And even in prison, they will handle you because of that, period. You see what I mean? Because you're a scumbag, because you're a predator of society. This is where you are. And you need, and this is why, you know, if given, you know, you guys don't want to hang around people like that, period. You don't want to be associated with that. Now, when I come back, we're going to talk about gangsters, okay? And I say gangsters in the form of gangsters because there's a caveat associated with gangsters. Because, you know, there's just so many of them, and just depending on the type of gangster, but gangsters in the form of gangsters, square business only, when mobbed up. All right, so we'll come back in a minute and talk about that. But in the meantime, what I want you to do is take this time, contribute to the super chat. If you want to come in and talk about this conversation, have this conversation with me, come on in. I'm putting it in the chat room now. So if you want to come talk to me about this, if you guys like it, you don't like it. Some of you guys might want to come in and you mad because I'm saying don't hang around drug dealers and pimps. You're like, well, that ain't no fun then, Uncle D. What's up with that? I get it. But, you know, bottom line is this is where I'm at. But in the meantime, you guys kick back and enjoy the music. I'll be right back. And make sure you contribute to the super chat and the cash. Let me see if anybody kicked in on it. I have not got one contribution on the super chat. What's up with that? That ain't cool, man. That is not cool. I mean, not super chat, the PayPal. Let me get something on the PayPal, man. Somebody contribute to the PayPal. Somebody contribute to the Cash App, and I'll make sure I give you a big shout out. I'm waiting for you guys. There's a Cash App, there's a PayPal, and you will kick back. I'm gonna run this commercial.
Hey, what's up, everybody? If you appreciate the format and you appreciate what we're doing here, then make sure you contribute to the Cash App. Make sure you contribute to the PayPal. Make sure you donate to the Super Chat. It's only you and your contributions that keep this thing going.
All right, we are back, and today's conversation is being the man about town, who to know and who not to know. Okay, we've done 2 parts on who to know. We went over that. You guys can look at the videos for the past couple of days and get a good idea of where we're coming from when we're talking about who to know. But now, who not to know. And it's not that you don't know them, it's that you don't hang around them in social circles. You're not known for hanging around them. You might be related to some. You never know. They might be someone who was like that in years past. But as far as you know, that is not the capacity by which they earn their money or the status that their social status at this point. We've gone over dealers. We've gone over pimps. We've talked about child molesters, rapes, scammers, and gangsters, right? And basically we just now getting to gangsters action. But so this is where we're picking up from gangsters. Now here's the thing. There's different kind of gangsters. You got street thugs. You got the more organized gangsters. You got Mexican mafia. You got all kinds of stuff, right? And gangsters come in all forms. They come in all ethnicities, all races, or whatnot. You do not want to be a person. And before I go forward, scammers. The one more thing about scammers that I didn't add: scammers will also prey. They'll make you the prey. All right, so that's another there's another reason there why you shouldn't hang around scammer type people. But same thing, gangsters. You don't want to deal with a gangster in their capacity as a gangster. In other words, you hanging out at the club and you hanging out posted up with people and they throwing up gang signs. Or this is a known mafia affiliate or some sort of known cartel affiliate, and you hanging out because now people are like, well, that's what they want to be. They want to be gangsters. So this is who you are. Respectable people who do business in the daytime, even folks who want to stay neutral, like club owners, because they want everybody's money. They don't want to be affiliated one another unless it's a gangster spot. They don't want that heat. You're bringing too much heat. They don't want to be associated with that, you know, and you shouldn't want to be associated with that either. But bottom line is, if that's who you're associated with, people are going to be hesitant about being around you. If you're known for hanging out with gangsters, these are the people you hang with. I don't care if you grew up with them. Leave that alone. Move that. You can still even have conversations. Yeah, man, remember went to high school, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Good, they your Facebook friend. But when you get invited to go hang out at the gangster bar mitzvah or the I don't know, the Sweet 16 Crip party, don't go. You don't want to be known for hanging out with these type of people in social circles. It's only bad news for you. Now, that doesn't mean if you're a used car salesman, you don't want to sell them a car. Of course you do. That doesn't mean if you're an attorney, you don't want to represent them. Or if you're a doctor, you don't want to treat them as a patient. Of course you do business with them in their capacity as a client or in their capacity as a patient. But you don't want to be hanging out with them as gangsters. You don't want to be in the club hanging out with gangsters, period. Okay? That's not something that you want to do. Gang members, you just really need to understand that there's a social stigma associated with that can undermine your credibility with other people who you need to begin to garner power from. The mayor and the governor, they don't want to be associated with you because you're a gangster. Look at all these mafia folks from back in the day, right? They were hanging out with the governors. Some of them had relatives who were governors. All of those folks, their legacy was tainted. Their legacy was tainted because they decided, instead of making a clean break away from that, they're hanging out with gangsters. They're hanging out with people who their profession is crime and violent crime and all sorts of criminal activity. You can't be that type of, you can't straddle the fence. I know some of you guys that, well, I just want to be cool, I want to be down. They're going to take you down, okay? And people aren't going to want to be around you. They're just not going to want to be around you. And so you're undermining you're not going to be able to go up. There's always going to be that anchor holding you down socially. Again, it's not about the money. I showed you a picture of me standing over Pablo Escobar's gravesite, all the money in the world, and he couldn't salvage his own life or his reputation. His children are still suffering from the fact that he was a drug dealer, gangster type person. Look at you got people here in the United States. They got to change their last name because, you know, look at our many people from the Italian mafia, regular Italian people. They don't want to be known as you know, this having to deal with that stereotype of every Italian person. The first question they get, are you mafia affiliated? Are you mob? Do you know anybody? They don't want to be associated. That's a negative stereotype. That's a negative stereotype in social circles. I get it. Everything is tainted. You see, when it's like when you go to one of these Ivy League schools and you're a black person and they assume that you got there on affirmative action. You're tainted. You didn't get there on your own merits. You got there because somebody gave you a leg up, right? Now flip that and put it on some of these Italian folks. You didn't get there because of your own merit. You got there because you, by hook and crook, and you're associated with the mafia and somebody scared somebody. You don't want that. People don't want to be around you like that. I get it. There's some people who are in it for the thrill, but for the most part, people who do legit business, who are in control of the government, who are in control of corporations, they don't want to know you in that capacity. They don't want to hang out with you in social circles. They don't want to see you out and about. If they see you out and about, they shake your hand, they keep it moving. They don't want to be known as a person that hangs out with you, okay? And so stay away from gangsters as gangsters. In other words, you can know them, you can do straight up legit business with them, i.e. you sold somebody an apartment because you're a real estate agent, you represented someone, or you designed a building for them because you're an architect, but you don't want to be associated with people like that, the criminal underworld, whether it's street gangs or organized crime, period. You just don't want to do it. Just stay away from it, because I promise you, those same little men in gray and black suits who are going to take them down are going to be taking you. They're going to be looking at you too. And everybody who knows how that's how it works knows it. You're bringing too much unnecessary ire from the government on your life. And anybody who's in business knows that. Anybody who's in government knows that. So just don't do it. You want to move up socially. You want to be a clean a slate. You want to be a breath of fresh air. Just move up. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Just think about it. I get it. You might have some family members who are street gang guys. I get it. I understand. But you got to separate yourself from the folks, family. You know, it is what it is. If you want to live a different kind of life, right? If you want that life, that's you. If you're a gangster, go hang out with gangsters, man. Do your thing. But I'm telling you, this is for other people. These are for the 64% of black men who've entered into the middle class, who want to live long, prosperous lives, who want to own things, who want to control things, and don't want the government coming in taking it from them, and don't want to have their reputation smeared. You see, that's what you don't want. You know, so just think about that. Let me see. Next up, losers, dead weight, and people that won't hustle. Here's the thing. But before we go any further, we got 65 people, 65 likes, and we got 90 people in the chat room. So make sure you get the likes up. Let's get the likes up. We got, yeah, I just refreshed it. Get the likes up, you guys. Show me your appreciation. Contribute to the super chat. Shout out to Corey Shaw. Shout out to Zara S. Shout out to W. Alfonso. Let me see who else I want to talk to here. I want to talk to we got Jerry, Jordan, Baltimore. Appreciate you guys for the super chat. I mean, for the Cash App. Keep contributing to the Cash App and the super chat. I appreciate that, guys. I need you guys to contribute. This is how we keep this going. This is how you show your appreciation for what I'm doing here. Next up, losers, dead weight, and people that won't hustle. You don't want to be known for hanging out with people who are losers. You don't want to do that, because if you hang out with people who are losers in the social circle, people are going to perceive you as losers. People who are dead weight, people who won't carry their own weight, people you got to carry. You got that friend, right? And you love them. Y'all been friends since elementary school. So y'all went to the same daycare, blah, 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 blah. But he just ain't moving. She's just not moving in life. She's just dead weight. He's just dead weight. They won't hustle. Instead, what they do is they complain all the time. That's not somebody you want to hang around. You typically want to hang around movers and shakers, people who are upbeat, people who speak lively about life, people who talk about investment. People, these are the type of people you want, people with that energy, because if you hang around those other people, you're going to get that reputation. And people who are upwardly mobile, they losers and people who won't hustle, that's just dead weight. Nobody wants to be around them. And so you shoot yourself in the foot. So don't do it. You know, don't hang around people like that. Don't put yourself in those type of circles. If you find out this is the type of person you're around, you just don't want to do it. You know, it's gonna make you, it's gonna cause for you to lose social capital, because here you are trying to be upbeat, trying to be the man about town, and you got this loser. You got this loser that's always on your hip. People are gonna associate you with that. And you don't know what that loser is doing when you're not around. You see, so keep that in mind. You see. So, and as Tony 5563 says, when you start hanging around people like that, people who are deadbeats, and that deadbeat is somebody who won't carry on, they won't carry their own weight, they won't hustle, they won't try to make their weight. They just, you know, come on, don't put yourself in that situation. But in the meantime, you guys want to join in this conversation, go ahead and click on the button, come on in the live stream. And also contribute to the super chat, contribute to the Cash App. You know, I want you guys to show your appreciation for what I'm doing by contributing. In the meantime, let's see what else we got here. So we went over dealers, pimps, child molesters, rapists, scammers, gangsters, losers. So we're talking about predators, people who are dead weight, people who are dangerous. These are the type of people you want to stay away from. Okay, this is the general category, right? These are people who prey on society. These are people who use intimidation. These are not people that you want to be associated with, period. Anybody who wants to join in, contribute to the super chat. We'll run a couple of commercials and we'll be right back. We'll let everybody who wants to come in. All right, but show your appreciation through you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? If you appreciate the format and you appreciate what we're doing here, then make sure you contribute to the Cash App, make sure you contribute to the PayPal, make sure you donate to the Super Chat. It's only you and your contributions that keep this thing going. Thanks. Hey, if you're enjoying the content here at Dennis Sperling Unfiltered, make sure you support it by sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And also, hit that little notification bell in the corner so that you'll get notice of each and every one of our live feeds. The only time black men are allowed to speak is when it benefits others. So hey, this is your opportunity to speak. I want to hear from you. And if you want to make this voice louder and clearer, then what you need to do is contribute to the Cash App, the PayPal, and the Super Chat. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions. I appreciate it. Let's keep it going. Donate to the Super Chat. Donate to the PayPal. Donate to the Cash App. It's your contributions and your donations that'll cause for this platform to grow. Let our voice be the voice, the preeminent voice in Black America. Hey, what's up, everybody? If you appreciate the format and you appreciate what we're doing here, then make sure you contribute to the Cash App, make sure you contribute to the PayPal, make sure you donate to the Super Chat. It's only you and your contributions that keep this thing going. Thank you. All right, what's up, you guys? This is Dennis Sperling. So look, if you appreciate what we're doing here, make sure you contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. I've already put the link in the chat room. It's there right now. You guys make sure, if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. Being the man about town. Maybe you think I missed something. If I missed something, let me know. Who else we got here? Big shout out to BGS Ibmore. It's always good to have BGS here. I know I got good topics going on. BGS is in the house. So what do you guys think? Did I miss something? My man Devin Lockett said, I got a gangster and a police cousin. Right. You see what I mean? Sometimes you can't tell the difference between the two. But in the meantime, you guys, you appreciate what we're doing, make sure you contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. Other than that, I'm looking at some of the comments here. Big shout out to Keith J, JPF, who has info. Thank you so much. Who else? Sage Apprentice. He says, gaining influence requires maintaining self-discipline while being immersed in different environments. Sage Apprentice, thank you so much. Edward Shaw, appreciate you. We got my man Devin Lockett in here. Let me see who else. Thomas Dixon, Mark 948, Derek Newton. Let me see here. Frozen 06, thank you so much. He said, always substantive. I do my best. Jaquez Roulet, valuable content right here. This is what moves the needle. Much appreciated, brother. Thank you. Malika, Randall, thank you guys. See, the thing is, man, I try to give you guys something that can actually benefit you in your life. That's what I want to do. You can actually walk away. And I'm not speaking theoretically. I'm speaking from what I know. But in the meantime, we'll see if we can get Devin Lockett back in his chair. Looks like he's somewhere sunny and warm. Devin, what's up, man? What did I miss, man? What did I miss, man? Tell me what I missed, man.
Hey, you right on that, man. You right on. You know, you gotta shake those old associations if you want to move forward in life, and you gotta let go of the losers. And another thing I found is that just mediocre people, right? People that seem cool, but they're just drinking buddies, and that's all they ever gonna be. They don't have anything going in their life. And the minute you start accomplishing things, they're really going to be haters, man. They're really going to be trying to convince you to stop or teach you the why not, or what they're going to do is go over all of the fears that keep them from doing their best. What happens is,
and that's the reason you don't want to hang out with losers, because you develop that attitude, and then you start quickly realizing why they're losers. You know what I mean? But what you think about them strippers, Edward Shaw? I said, I'm teaching you how to, negotiate with the ladies of the night. What are your thoughts on that, man? I hit some. I mean, this was I really didn't hold back, man. This is a grown man conversation. What do you think about that?
Hey, I mean, I haven't been to the strip club in a minute too myself, about 5 years too. It's not my forte, but yeah, you dead right. You need them in your arsenal, just in case you have somebody that that's coming to town.
What else struck you from the conversation that we were having today, or from the lecture? What struck you?
Everything is on point, but the main thing that struck me was meeting up with the mayor and the councilman. That's something that's been on my mind lately because I have a trading firm where I teach people how to trade. So I do forex, stocks, and all that good stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I should be going to these high schools and these ISDs to let them know of my service and train the people, the students, maybe like ninth grade through high school. So that way, that would prepare them as to what they want to go study, like in school, and just to provide them with the options that is out there. That you don't need to go study medicine or be tied down for 4 years studying this. You can actually make money while you're studying. So that kind of like struck me that, hey, you got to go out there, network, people in there.
All right, man. I appreciate that, Edward. And look, Devin, what else kind of struck you? What stood out in that conversation? Is there something in there that like really said, wow, okay. What stood out? Oh, you got to unmute yourself.
You're absolutely right as far as getting yourself aligned with the right kind of attorneys, man. I'm finding myself right now in need of a business lawyer, and it's a shame, and an accountant, and it's a shame that I don't already network with them. You know, I should know, from the Black Chamber of Commerce, right? A good brother that can take care of my legal paperwork as well as business documentation, as well as my my accounting. And yeah, you're absolutely right, man. It is important to get out there. I mean, it might be more difficult now with the mask and all of this nonsense going on, but it's very important to get yourself out there, especially if you're making a little bit of paper. Don't just be, the guy with money that nobody knows and nobody knows about. And also invest in some suits. Invest in some suits. Go to the Men's Warehouse once a week. If you got $200, $300, $400, let's just say $400, $500 extra dollars in your pocket, pick yourself up a nice, decent suit. Before you know it, you'll have a suit of every color in your closet. And when it's time for you to start mingling and networking, you got something to throw on. You look appropriate. And besides that, once you get used to it,
I had a conversation on grooming about that, and I would suggest, depending on the level you're at, you probably want to get some custom made suits. But the thing I wanted to kind of focus on, and I'll go back to Edward real quick. Edward, where are you calling in from, by the way? Oh, you got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I just did. Well, I live in Dallas, but I just moved to.
So here's the thing. This applies everywhere because human beings are the same everywhere. You want to gravitate towards people who have power. And see, power is not something that you can grasp, it's cultivated. And what you want to do is you want to make your friends before you need them. You don't want to be in a tough situation and then reaching out to somebody that you've never helped, don't know, they don't know you. You just a random person. They're not beholden you for anything. That's why, again, it's better to give than receive. You give, you make friends, they're beholden to you. And see, here's the thing. What's spoken don't need to be said. They already understand. You drop a couple thousand on them for their campaign. When you need them 5 or 6 years later to write a letter for your son to get into, Annapolis, it's done. You see what I'm saying? So these rules apply to everybody. You just got to know how to operate. My man Kevin Samuels is in the house. What's up, Kevin Samuels, the Godfather? Always good to have him here. See, and let me tell you guys something. Kevin is right when he tells you it doesn't matter how much money you have. It's also about your social network. And he'll tell you the same thing I'm telling you. If you got your money because you're a dope dealer or a gangbanger or somebody like that, a predator, people don't want to hang around you. You see what I mean? People like me, I'm not going to hang around you because I'm in it for the long game. And I'm not just talking about my lifespan. I'm talking about my children's lifespan. So if I get a soiled name because I hung around, I used to hang around with these people. Look at the Kennedys. They're still living down the fact that their father or their grandfather was a bootlegger. So, but anyway, man, that's it. Devin, what else you got? Kevin, if you want to come in, you're welcome to come in. BGS, you're welcome to come in too. But Devin, what else would you like to add to this conversation?
Go ahead. You got to unmute yourself. And Kevin and Mr. Samuel says suit supply, not men's warehouse.
You're right, Kev. Thanks, man. You're right about that. You're right about that.
That's what I'm checking out right now.
You got a bunch of cheap suits, that gives off the wrong impression. You see, like, I always put this suit. See this picture I have up here in the right corner? That was a custom suit. Didn't cost a whole lot, but that was about a $2,000 suit. But on a big picture of things, it's still a nice suit. But the bottom line is, it's not. And I'll have a conversation about that too, about carrying yourself and how you conduct yourself. But if you want to be the man about town, it's about your network. It's not just about your money. You got to have a network. You got to have people who are willing to. You got to have people who are willing to vouch for you, who will speak up for you. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and another point that you were making as far as watching your associations. You know, when I started my business, I was servicing the islands of the Caribbean and Latin America. You know, and we are one, right? So I reach out to my brothers. I reach out to my Rastafarians, you know, brothers. I got Rasta partners in just about every island. You know, but at the same time, I am an entrepreneur. And I was working for the hospitals, and the hospitals all belong to the governments. And so I was also rubbing elbows with prime ministers and other members in these, you know, these communities. And so I kind of learned, to be honest with you, brother, I kind of learned the hard way, right? I kind of learned the hard way that, you know, some of the brothers you might want to, you know, reason on the beach with, you want to save that for a time that you're not going to necessarily be rubbing elbows with the prime minister, you know, and you don't want to be seen in these very small communities where things get from one island to the other in 5 minutes, you know. So as you decide to elevate yourself in life, it is very important not only who you do know, but also who you distance yourself from.
Right. And do you see something as simple, Edward, as knowing a photographer or knowing the DJ? You see what I mean? Knowing the club owners. You're great in the daytime. You got all these people. You got $400,000 or $500,000 in the bank, you know. But when it comes to the VIP line, you way in the back with the scrubs and the suckers. So now it doesn't carry over. You see what I'm saying? You're the man in the daytime, but you can't even get past that hour and a half wait in the club because nobody knows you. You see what I mean? One trick that I used to do was I would, first of all, planning. Okay. What I would do if I wanted to get to, like, there's this club in town, I forget, they got a swimming pool in the middle of the club. I forget what it's called. But bottom line, I would get the manager's phone number a week or two ahead of time. I say, look, I want to come there. I'm going to have my bodyguard give you a call. I can get 4 or 5 bodyguards for $1,000 for 4 hours. You see what I mean? Which is about anywhere from $250 to, I mean, these are cops. You know what I'm saying? Cops, bodyguards. And so I walk in with an entourage. I've already made my appointment. I'm parked in the VIP, you know, because, you know, I done rented a truck or something like that. Maybe the guys, I got an Uber truck, my people in that Uber's following them. Cool. All these different things. And then what happens is you don't have to even worry about that VIP. You don't have to worry about the line, and you don't have to deal with the hassle. And on top of that, you're safe. That's just another trick that I do. Planning ahead of time. Don't just show up. Plan ahead of time, let them know who you are. They tell you, yeah, this is the limit. The limit is $5,000. Okay, I got it, no problem. You see what I mean? You make sure you hit that limit real quick and you good. You see what I mean? If you're ready to do it like that. Now, I don't go out every night. I don't go out every week. You know what I mean? I might, maybe once a year, I'll go somewhere and do it big. If it's a concert in town, like I remember Cardi B came to town, I think it was 1998. She might have been pregnant or something at the time. Oh, man, I had a blast. I spent a lot of money. It was me, my bodyguards. Before I knew it, man, you know, my section was filled up with people I didn't know. I'm putting people out. I'm drunk. I'm drinking out the bottle. Of course, this is years ago, fellas. You know, Uncle D was going. Okay, I'm going through something. But anyway, the way you do it, I got in, I got out. It was safe. I had a great time. I felt good. You see what I mean? And so these are some of the things that, not 98. I'm sorry. It wasn't 98. It was 2018. I'm sorry, man. This is about my bad. God, it was when she was pregnant, man. I think she was pregnant. Was it 2018 or 2019? I think it might have been November of 2018. I'm not sure, but she was pregnant back then. So that's whenever she was pregnant. So it was 2018. My bad, bro.
Yeah.
But that's the way you do it. You plan it out. You see what I mean? So you got people coming in town. They want to be impressed. They square. You know what I mean? You don't want to be elbowing people with your CEO and the CFO trying to go in this hot club. A lot of times, if you're going to be older, you don't want to have to, you 35, 40 years old. You don't want to have to be elbowing some college student out the way. You literally want to get out of your car and the path opened up. That goes a long way to for the people who are looking at you like, wow, okay, they can't do that in their real life. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, Devin, what else you got to say? And then we're gonna go to Edward. And you guys, if you appreciate this conversation, make sure you contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. Go ahead.
Another thing I wanted to mention is we as brothers, we spend too much money on athletic shoes that are not worth the price. And having lived in Spain for 4 years and traveled all over Europe and many other parts of the world, there are certain places that I don't care how much you spent for your shoes, you can't get in with a pair of athletic shoes on. And so you have to know how to dress and you have to know how to get dress shoes. And I'm sure Kevin Samuels should come on in and really, he's the man that's more qualified to talk about this than I. But
grooming.
Yeah, but just back to the grooming, just like having the right suits on. Having the right shoes, even if you're not wearing the suit, even if you're just wearing a pair of jeans and a sport coat, having the right shoes and becoming accustomed. The thing is this, right? You know as well as I do as an attorney that when you are dressed formally or more formally or professionally, you get more respect than when you're wearing loose-fitting T-shirts like I am right now, or baggies or sweats or athletic clothes or jerseys or anything like that. We got to leave the Jordans in the closet. We got to leave the Jordans in the store. We got to leave the Jordans.
My thing is, man, it's a time and a place for everything. Like if you go into your kids' basketball game, put your sweatsuit and your Jordans on. Don't come to your kids' basketball game with some alligators on in the suit. You see what I mean? Don't do that. Dress appropriately. It's unfortunate, man. And I'm going to have another conversation with you guys. And actually, I got a rant. And it talks about money is not a replacement for class. Because again, as I said, you got a lot of young black men who have entered into the middle class to the tune of about 64%. They have not necessarily had somebody explain to them, how to conduct themselves and how to maintain that class level so they can truly be appreciated for their accomplishments. If you walk in there looking like a thug, they're going to treat you like a thug. My sons, when we go out, man, I always try to make sure my boys are immaculately dressed. They suited, they booted, they look good. You know what I mean? Whether we go to 5-star restaurants in Houston, we've been to 5-star, pretty much any town we've been in, they know how to conduct themselves. They know how to dress appropriately. I got a little picture here. Let me see if I can pull this up. This is just us at a restaurant, here in the Houston area. You can see this is them. This is how we dress. You see what I mean? This is what they're being taught. So you'll be surprised. There's certain expectations that they have, and there's certain people look at them and like, wow, this is what y'all doing. These are two little black boys. You see what I mean? And all that is right there is just a little sport coat and a little hat for my boy. You see me, I got my jeans on in the back, but I have my sport coat on. You see that, man? That's how you train it up. You see what I mean?
Yes,
you always, but just something to think about. Let me move that out the way, man. Yeah, man, and that's how you want dignity, class, respect. You see what I mean? Nobility, grace. These are the things that we should be entrenching in our sons and our daughters. But I don't have daughters. But the thing is, man, my boys are well balanced. I've taught them how to fight, all these different things, but professionally and whatnot. But they also know how to carry themselves like gentlemen. And I expect nothing but greatness from them because they're being groomed for greatness. They're being groomed to already know how to dress, how to conduct themselves. And part of people's impression of you is how you dress. See, raggedy dudes ain't gonna want to hang around you if you clean like that. So you kind of filter it out. But if you look grimy, you're gonna attract grimy. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, go ahead, Devin, and then we're gonna go to Edward.
And you just get, whenever you're in lapels, brother, whether it's sport coat or a suit, you just get another level of respect in life. It's just like when you bodybuilding, when you lift weights and you get all yoked up, you get another level of respect, and you don't want to ever go back to being skinny. Well, once you start, you know that, right? Once you start wearing a suit, a jacket, a tie, a suit, anything with lapels, once you start dressing yourself appropriately and start wearing some nice leather hard bottom shoes, they don't have to be alligators, but I like gators too.
Right.
But I mean, once you start carrying yourself that way, you're gonna notice the way the bank teller treats you, the way the bus driver treats you, the way everybody interfaces with you is different. And then you're gonna have to make that decision. Do you want to be that gentleman, or do you want to be the other thug? And that's something that brothers need to. You need to give yourself the experience of. You do have to overdress. Don't embarrass your son, by going all pimped out to the game, of course, right? But at the same time, I think the young brothers should learn to slightly overdress, wear a collar more often than you need to, and become accustomed to that.
Polo.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Devin. Edward, what are your thoughts on this thing, man? What have you learned today from this conversation? I got another one coming for y'all tomorrow. What have you learned from this conversation?
Oh, Dennis, man, you definitely get called sir when you dress well, anywhere you go, in the bus, anywhere. But the timing of this message, Dennis, it's so profound. Like, I just moved from Dallas to Houston 3 days ago. So everything just struck nerve. It just hit the right base. Move away from the Pokey and Ray Ray, from everybody that knows me in Dallas, because I'm really popular in Dallas. I'm like, you know what? Let me just slow it down. I need to start something new, a new set of new friends. So I'm like, wow. So that's why I had to super chat you real quick. Like, wow, thank you so much for this message, and we really need more of this. Like, we need grown men that can teach the younger generation on grooming and how to conduct themselves. So I will be making moves to the club, the mayor, the city council. Like, we have to be out there, period.
And I appreciate your honesty, man, I appreciate your honesty, because it's a lot of brothers that think I know 50-year-old dudes are still walking around with tennis shoes and their pants sag. You see what I mean? Like, this is me at 21. Okay, this is me at 21. You see that? That's not acceptable. Now, see, this is me at 35. You see the difference? If I was on here talking and dressing like this, you guys would have zero respect for me, and I would attract the wrong element, and the people that I need to help empower me would not want to be around. So, of course, that's why you have to change. You see what I mean? You have to change and grow. Unfortunately, man, a lot of our brothers don't want to change. They think, this is the end all be all. But look, it's some people that you have to know. If you want to garner power and respect, there's some people that operate in the night and people that operate in the day. And then there's people that you don't know. Being a man about town, it's about habits. It's about how you conduct yourself, how you carry yourself. Of course, there's a monetary component involved in it. But sometimes, man, the power and the weight that you have with your name and the favors that you've done for people, and the things that people owe you, man, people know they can trust you. You're confident. You good. And then it just comes to you, man. But either way, I appreciate you guys, man. This has been a cool conversation. If you appreciate what I'm doing, make sure you contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. This is more development, man. We got to do more than just talk about what's going on in the news and the pop culture. This is a channel dedicated to Black men, and I know that many of you Black men have not had Black male role models who are in the upper echelons who can teach you. I know this is something you need to hear. I learned to tie a tie from watching a TV show back, in the 1980s. Around the mountain once, around the mountain twice, up through the middle, and that was Gary Coleman. I forget the name of the show. Him and Todd Bridges played on this show back in the day. But that's how I learned. But I don't think that's something that I would want
for my sons to do. And I know that many of you all miss those lessons too. So anyway, man, go ahead and enjoy your day. I'll see you guys a little bit later on, but God bless you. I appreciate you, man. I hope y'all enjoyed this conversation. If you did, you're free to contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. Other than that, this is Uncle D. I'm out.